Works? Yeah. Okay. Good evening, and welcome to the public hearing for the Livingston Zoning Board of Adjustment. Today is June 11th, 2025. If you're an applicant for a D or use variance, you should be aware that such a variance can only be granted after showing that special reasons for the grant of that variance exists, and that variance can be granted without substantial detriment to the zoning plan in the Township of Livingston. Excuse me. You should also be aware that in order to be granted such a variance, you will require an affirmative vote of 5 members of the 7-member Board of Adjustment. Other variances require a majority of 4 members to grant that variance. If you're an applicant for any variance and your variance is denied by this board, you have a right to appeal to the Superior Court of the State of New Jersey within 45 days of notice of decision, and that court may overturn the decision of this board. If you're an objector to any type of variance has been granted, you too may appeal to the Superior Court of the State of New Jersey within 45 days of the notice of decision. If you do file an appeal, I ask that you please provide a copy of your complaint to the Planning Administrator, Jackie Hollis. Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Star Ledger and West Essex Tribune, and a copy was also posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. In addition to having notice posted, notice of this meeting was placed on the Township's website. Members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions or to make statements regarding each application at the appropriate time. When the time occurs, if you would like to address the board, please come to the front and use the microphone so we can make sure your comments or questions are part of the record. We will now call the roll. Mr. Kenya?
Okay, Mr. Kenya is here. Mr. Horn is out. Mr. Sherman?
Here.
Ms. Young?
Here.
Mr. Wiseman?
Here.
Mr. Beer?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I'm going to turn this over to our board attorney for a moment.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard the chairman indicate before, that any D variance before this board requires an affirmative vote of 5 of 7 members. Due to scheduling, we have 5 members available tonight. So if you have a application which requires what's known as a D variance, that would include use variances, floor area ratio variances, and height variances. So if you have one of those 3 variances as part of your application, you have to obtain the vote of all 5 members tonight. Some would say this is maybe an opportunity, should you have an application like that for tonight, that you may wish to have your matter continued to a night when the board is at full complement. So if you have a what's known as a floor area ratio variance for tonight, please know that you need all 5 votes, or you can ask for the matter to be adjourned to another date when we will likely have a full complement. Normally we have beyond a full complement. We have 7 members and our 2 alternates. So, and I'm going to repeat that again, Chairman, as the applicants come up.
Please do. Okay. The first application has been withdrawn. That was block 3100, lot 17, 83 Falcon Road. And the second application, block 7300, lot 81, 236 East Northfield Road, has been adjourned to July 22nd. Would you like to please call the next applicant?
It's block 1404, lot 7, 48 Dorothy Avenue, application number 2025-10-V. Sergey Samsonic, applicant seeks approval for a second floor addition in violation of the following section. 170-87BB4, habitable floor area, 3032 square feet allowed, 3,701 square feet proposed, 481 square feet variance requested.
And just for clarity, for 83 Falcon Road and 236 East Northfield Road, that will be adjourned to another time, so if you're here for that, might as well just go home and watch the game. You always have to give to Jackie. She's the most important person in the room.
All right, so, oh, extra seat, okay. All right, let's, are you Sergey, right? I remember you from last time. And, all right, so you have some professionals here with you? Okay, so gentlemen, why don't you just let me know which one is which? You gotta turn on the mic.
I'm AJ Cardile. I'm the attorney for Mr. Samsoning.
Oh, you're the attorney?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I should have realized that because you wear a tie.
But it's
Without
not
a
a bow
tie.
tie.
I'm Roby Wood, I'm the architect, testifying on behalf of Mr. Samsoning.
Okay.
Not the
okay.
architect of record, but design
Okay.
professional.
Understood. No tie, that's how we know you're the architect. Okay, thank you. All right, so, through you, Chair?
Yes, please.
Now, we'll get to the document that was handed out. We'll mark it in a second, so why don't we let council introduce?
So, Mr. Samsoning is seeking a variance. He's in an R4 zone, and the habitable floor area.
I'm sorry, council, you gotta give, I apologize. Can you give me your name one more time?
Yeah, AJ Cardile.
Spell it for me?
AJ, and then Cardile.
Thank you. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So he's seeking relief. He's in an R4 zone, and the habitable floor area that's permitted is 3,220 square feet. He's looking to increase it to 3,701 square feet. And the reason for the increase is if he's unable to do this, he's going to have an undue hardship. He's got a big family. This increases the functionality of the dwelling. His architect has exhausted every possible reconfiguration to see if there's another way without requiring the variance. But it appears there's no other safe way other than to increase the square footage. And secondly, if you grant this variance, it wouldn't result in a substantial detriment to the public good. There's other homes in the neighborhood. It's not going to be completely out of sorts in this specific neighborhood. Just like to bring those points.
All right, if you have a phone, you please have to mute it. That includes my attorney friends out there with their ties. All right, so, counsel, you are, part of the packet we received is a letter from you. I'm not gonna mark it because it's your letter. But I'm indicating that we did receive a letter from you, which will be part of the file. And are you going to be calling the architect now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth before the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Can you please tell us your name again?
Roby Wood, Robie, Wood.
Okay. And Mr. Wood, yeah, I think you indicated before that you're an architect, correct?
Correct.
Are you licensed in the state of New Jersey?
Yes,
And is that license current?
yes.
Okay, Chairman?
And, could we just please have your background and education for the record?
Sure. Master of Architecture, 2001, Yale University, licensed 2006, State of New Jersey, been practicing since then.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as an expert in architecture.
All right, Mr. Wood, you can sit down. Mr. Wood, we have a double-sided, a three-page letter that I believe you authored, correct?
Correct.
And that's going to be part of your testimony tonight, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I believe before you said you weren't the architect on the file?
No, was asked on behalf of the client to testify as a expert witness, I guess.
Okay, so did you have an opportunity to take a look at the application?
Yes, I
All right.
reviewed the drawings and.
All right, whosever phone is dinging, I'm gonna think that my microwave dinner's done. Okay? Or the fries. Thank you. So, all right, so you're not the architect corrector, but it would be fair to state that you've taken a full review of the architectural plans and you've made yourself familiar with them.
Yes,
In your capacity as a professional architect, you're able to make a commentary and render expert opinion based upon a review of those documents.
yes, correct.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
So I'll just kind of walk through my review and then my findings and my opinion on this project, this application. The program and context is we have Mr. Samsonic is trying to provide additional space in his home. And while that's very common for a lot of people, there are some other circumstances involved here. He has parents that are looking to move or going to be moving in permanently, aging parents. Has a extended family overseas that visits for large periods of time. Has relatives here that will be staying in his home for up to about 3 years while they're in school. And both Mr. Samsonic and his wife Svetlana work from home as home offices, so remote work, which is a reality today, is necessary. And so the program, what it spoke to was the need for additional space to maintain privacy and sort of accommodate those needs. The current home, as it stands, does not have what you'd call a traditional, or does not have a primary bedroom suite. It, if you have seen the floor plans, 3-bedroom share a common bathroom on the main floor. So in my estimation, I think the idea of adding a primary bedroom suite to the home is a very reasonable ask in terms of, or request in terms of creating that space, which then in turn gives them the flexibility to accommodate these requirements, as I stated. My review of the drawings in terms of kind of looking at, I guess, my, sort of a review of possible alternatives, the part of the home, as it is a kind of a split level, sits below grade. The lower portion of the house, which would be mainly given over to the office spaces, I think it makes sense. There's an existing family room and dining area, which was built, I think, within the last 10 years. Is it roughly? It's a large space, but it's to do this internally to try and divide that up. You would lose those living spaces, and there would be some significant structural changes that would have to be made to do that. So all things told, the addition that's proposed, which sits over the middle portion of this home, it makes a lot of sense from in terms of access, from the use. It creates privacy, and it gives them I think, an updated modern home that will function for years to come, and does so with a modest increase in the overall square footage. Speaking to some of the context of the neighborhood, there are several homes, many are larger than this home. So it is well within the context and character of the neighborhood. And I'll just close with I guess, just reaffirming the aspect of having, aging parents, being able to age in place, something we're all going to have to deal with at some point or another. I think this gives them that ability and gives them the flexibility to stay in this home for years to come.
Mr. Wood, let me just ask you a few housekeeping questions before the board proceeds to ask questions. There was a document which is 2 color photos on one page of the current residence. Did you take that, or did the client take that?
The client did.
The client took that, okay. And there is another document which is a series of 4 pages of photos, and then a readout, a listing of properties. Did you do that, or is that the client?
The client provided
Okay,
that.
and in order for us, so is the client going to testify on those? You're not using these for your, part of your testimony? Well, why don't we do this? You have the photos in front of you?
Yeah,
Okay, so you would agree with me that these 2 photos on this one page, we can mark that as Exhibit A1 at the color photos? Would you agree with me on that, Mr. Wood?
yes, correct.
Okay. And then, on the other one, which I'll call it Exhibit A2, with photos and property listing, have you had an opportunity to see that?
Yes,
All right, and you didn't put the red lettering on it, right? That was the client?
no, correct, it was the
But
client.
do you agree with what the red lettering on there says?
Yes, I
That
do.
it's a fair and accurate representation of those homes?
Yes.
Has an accurate listing of those homes and those
Yes.
square footages?
Yes,
And then the final page with regard to that list of homes, and on the last page, you had an opportunity to take a look at that? And
Yes,
you
I
would
did.
agree that those are accurate?
yes, to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, if we were in a court, I would take it, that sounds like, we're getting a message from the sleeper cell. Ladies and gentlemen, please realize this. This is incredibly important to each applicant that they have a very clear record. And having those sounds and having conversations and such in the background doesn't do anybody a good service. When your application is up here, you're going to want to hear it, have it heard clearly. So please silence the phones. Okay, so Exhibit A2. Okay. All right, Chairman, to you.
Thank you. Just talking about A2, just for a clarification, the numbers that are shown likely include the basement for those houses, right? Because that's what's on the public records, and that generally includes all livable space?
The numbers were primarily taken from.
All right, wait, sir. We'll have to swear you, we can get, if the clarification is going to come from you, sir, we'll get you sworn in, and you can testify.
I would say, and based on my knowledge of these dimensions, particularly if they were taken as habitable floor area, that would not typically include the basement, but may include some portions of the attic.
Okay, they just, All right, looks a little, the numbers look a little large to me on a few of them, but could be, okay, thank you. Does anybody on the board, besides me, have any questions for this applicant?
I have a question.
Please.
So on the last page of this exhibit, I see that you provide links to some of the homes, but the others without the source. Like, how did you estimate or obtain the square footages for the others that does not have the link?
I cannot answer that. I reviewed this document, but this was provided by the client, the owner. I didn't create this.
The owner will have to testify as to that.
Because you testified that a portion is below grade, but just so we're clear, the portions that are below grade are not included in the square footage calculations here for which you're asking.
Typically, based on my assessment or understanding of habitable square feet in the basement would not be included, and some portion of the attic would be included, the garage would not be included. That's my understanding. But
Okay, we have
I
to make a
didn't-
decision, so we need to know
I
exactly
did not
what's being-
prepare this.
exactly what
I
the
did not
square feet
prepare
is.
this. I'm a witness to his house in particular, so I'm not testifying to
And I think that's
that
the,
element.
and Mr. Wood, I think I think Mr. Weissman's question is about this house.
This house.
This house. And so, Mr. Weissman, why don't you repeat the question, because it's about, I think the question is about this house,
Yeah,
Mr. Wood.
for example, if you were asking, you're asking for a variance of, I think it's 471 square feet, and you had mentioned that a portion is below ground, below grade. So if you told me, oh, these figures where it goes over the 471 or whatever that figure, that includes below grade, that would affect our decision, because we'd say, oh, below grade, we don't usually count that, as you've testified.
Right.
So I'm trying for us to get a handle on exactly what is the square footage above grade, what's below, and what we're asking the variance on, because otherwise it's not.
Well, in my review of Mr. Anderson's drawings that have been submitted and the calculations present on page 1 of the drawings, it does not include the basement of this property. It does include, because it's a split level, there's a ground floor, which is about 40%, 50% below grade, and that is included.
Yeah, 100%. Where it doesn't include is when you go into the basement.
Right. Oh, this,
That's included.
so let me ask my question. So this portion, I'm looking at on the plans, the first, the lowest set of windows, are those below grade? Is the floor below grade?
The floor is below grade, correct?
The floor is below grade?
Yeah, 50% roughly.
But it's also not the basement.
That counts as basement, no?
No, it's part of. We're getting a message from beyond. Okay, all right, so just to clarify, just so we're clear, with a split-level home, the home goes down into an area which is below an upper level, but that level is counted. When you go down the stairs into the basement, what is classified here on the plans as a basement, that is not counted. The basement piece is not counted. The other area that's listed as storage and rec room is part of their 3,701 square feet.
And I will add that it does walk out to the back, so the front of is slightly below grade, but the back does go directly to grade.
Anybody else on the board have any more questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Okay, Counselor, back to you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call Mr. Samsonic next.
Okay, Mr. Samsonic?
Raise your right hand.
Yeah, why don't you switch so we can get you on the mic? That's perfect. Thank you, Mr. Wood. Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay, why don't you take a seat, and counsel, why don't you go ahead and proceed?
So, with this list here, how'd you come up with these? Like, where'd you get the information for it?
The information from the top list is coming from search and from online search and from information available on the houses which we observe on the picture for which we took pictures which are presented, and other houses which came up in searches for houses of 4,000 square feet and larger in R4 zone in our neighborhood. So for some houses it was possible. These links, they were gathered literally yesterday. I didn't have time to find exact information for some of the houses. The list was combined earlier during the last 2 months that we had since previous meeting. Second part of the list is gathered from Livingston.org website, from notes from these meetings, and these are from applications which were submitted for this board in the past couple of years, since 2022. This is the bottom part of this list.
Question about this bottom part, the recent zoning applications. Were these, do you know if these were just requested or they were granted?
There is no information which I could find about whether it was granted or not.
Okay.
I cannot say this.
That's okay. Do you have anything else you want to present to the board as to why they should grant or consider your application?
I think everything was already.
You have to speak into the mic, sir.
No, I don't have anything in addition to what was already presented.
Do you guys have any questions for Mr. Sampsonik? The homeowner?
Anybody on the board?
Yeah, I just wasn't clear where you got the figures from the website, you said website?
Yes, this, the top of the list is from website who list properties, who display information on properties, such as real estate websites, Zillow.
Right, because I see you
other
did
such.
put which I appreciate, the
Yes,
Zillow or
yes.
Redfin or.
There is
the
no
Realty.
consistent
Okay,
source which I could find. It was
Right, so,
collected piece by piece from different sources.
so if I would, I just want to make reasonable, if I just make reasonable assumption that the information perhaps could have been entered by realtors when they're selling a home.
Yes, and in many cases it's they even don't put this information. But the main objective was to show pictures of the houses and to show that our house, the way it looks like compared to what is also presented to the board, and the extension will not look outrageous out of context in our neighborhood. This is the primary purpose of providing the pictures. And these are houses exactly in our neighborhood, no more than 500 feet from our house. Yeah, and for the list which you started your question, second part of the list is from notes from documents from this board from the past couple of years. Again, whatever I could gather from the website livingston.nj.org.
Right. I'm curious, I think, counsel, I think for, just a point of clarification, I think for the public, I think we do publicize, right, the resolution, do we publicize, just generally speaking? When we
Yes, all-
decide matters, all matters do get a decision and is available, should be available to the public. I just
Well,
wanted-
maybe
Right.
I could
Okay, I just
find
wanted
it.
you to know that.
I would.
That's okay,
definitely use it.
you're not supposed to everything, I just wanted to make it as a point of reference, so people understood, yeah.
Assuming that they went for a variance and it wasn't just built within.
Yeah, okay.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Oh, back to you, Counselor.
Just one more question. So your purpose for these pictures is not necessarily these figures, it's more to show that your house would kind of blend with the current scheme in the neighborhood that you live in, is that correct?
It will blend, for the pictures specifically, yes, it will blend in terms of appearance. For the figures and numbers, that it will not be out of what is present in the neighborhood and what is already around us.
Okay. Yeah, I have no further questions for you.
Does anybody in the public want to make any statements regarding this application? Counselor, do you want to have any closing statements, or?
No, I think everything's been said about the application. So, no further remarks.
Okay. Anybody on the board want to make any statements?
Yeah, I'll just, since it's a statement, I figured I should go on the record. I always want homeowners to get what they want, so, and you could personally use a bigger house. I'm having trouble with the fact that it's asking for a larger house that's in the next zone district. You're in an R4, you're asking for a house that's, right, that you're in an R4?
Yes.
Right, and, which is zoned for 3220, and you're asking for an R3, which is for larger size lots, or 3520, and you're asking for 3701, and it's substantial, so it's even above the next level. So it's 481 square feet over, which is like 20%, so it's not even a little bit. So that's why I'm having, even though I, want to accommodate, that's why it's a little tough for me to go beyond the law. And in terms of usually if there's hardship, the hardship should be with the piece of land, that there's some particular hardship with this piece of land, not, personally have more people in the house and you could use a bigger house. I'd like you to have a bigger house, but, so I'm having trouble finding, legally a rationale to grant so much more space than what the zoning law says it should be.
Anybody else have any comments on the board?
I have one. I actually think that, given that it's a split-level house, they do not have a full basement. And then when they count the square footages, the left side of the house, the first floor is counted as livable, habitable floor area. So for that, I would give the applicant, the benefit of, they don't really have a basement per se in calculating this compared with the other houses. So personally, in my opinion, I think, he's only going up, not out and behind. So I understand that, his needs, so, okay.
Go ahead. You got what? Anybody else have any comments? Okay.
And once again, just to be clear, because we have only 5 members, this is a majority vote. It's a bulk variance. And just to clarify, the Song's comment, in essence, not to put words into her mouth, but in essence saying that because the unique nature of the home presents a degree of hardship with regard to the calculation of the habitable floor area. Agreed?
That's correct, yeah, agreed.
Any other comments from the board? Would someone like to make a motion?
I would make a motion to approve.
Anybody second?
I'll second it. Okay, Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Kenya, yes. Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman?
I'm glad it looks like it's going to pass, although I'm a no for my vote.
No, that's fine. Mr. Beard?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Congratulations. Okay, the next one. Block 1500, Lot 26, 100 North Livingston Avenue, application number 2025-36-3, Velbis, Trinidad. Applicant seeks approval to construct a single-family a house in violation of the following section: 170-87CC4, habitable floor area ratio, 30% allowed, 36% proposed, 6% variance requested.
Hi there. Hi, I'm sorry. That's okay. We were yapping back here.
Okay, let me just find out who's here. Are you Mr. Trinidad?
Yes, sir.
You're the property owner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you have one witness who is your architect? Yes, I own it. Okay, no tie, must be an architect. So, Mr. Trinidad,
Yes.
your application tonight is for relief from the floor area ratio, which is what's known as a D4 variance, which means that when it's a D4 variance, you need the yes vote of every single member up here. You can't lose a single person. We normally would have 7 people, and in that sense, you could lose 2 and still achieve your variance. Knowing that, do you still wish to proceed tonight or ask for an adjournment to the next meeting, at which time we more than likely will have a full complement to hear your case? If you do request, and because you're not, you don't have a tie, so you must not be an attorney. No. Okay. Just so you know that if your case was not heard tonight, you would not need to renotice for the next meeting, because I would announce it to everyone. So remember, you had to send out all those notices with the certified mail. You wouldn't have to do that again. Okay, we would just announce the new date. But knowing all of that, do you still want to proceed tonight?
And just to add one point, if you go to a vote and it doesn't go through, you can't come back with the same application. It has to be substantially different, which I cannot define. That'd be up to, so just giving you the full picture, I'm not saying it would, but if it does not pass, you'd have to totally redo everything and come back. So, I want to make sure you have all the facts.
Right, you'd in essence be starting from square one.
Yeah. I'm gonna proceed with it.
You want to proceed tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, who do you have tonight? The architect, right? We're gonna swear you? Yes. Okay. All right, do you swear affirm tell the truth to this board tonight?
I do.
Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Jennifer Palermo, Palermo. I am a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey. I went to NJIT and have a master's degree in architecture. I've been licensed since 2002. I've appeared before this board and many, many other boards over the past, dare I say, 20 years.
Everything, all your licenses are in good standing, I assume?
Yes, sir.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture. Please,
Thank
all
you.
yours.
So before you this evening, we are looking at a property on 100 North Livingston Avenue, existing on the property at the moment is a 1.5-story frame dwelling, as you can see over on the left-hand side, which is the existing property survey. The current building meets the required setbacks in the zone, except for the right side yard setback, where 10 feet is required, there is only 7 and change. My client wishes to start over. He would like to tear down the building and construct a new 2-story single-family home that does in fact exceed the floor area ratio by 6%. I will say that we have an undersized lot for the zone. Required is 9,575, and we are at around 7,900. So the existing lot is already undersized. We are proposing habitable floor area of 2,903. And that is about 450, 500 square feet greater than what's required. However, with the undersized lot, we are still under the maximum for the zone, which is, as you had said earlier, 3,220. So we're only at 2,900 square feet. The new structure will adhere to all of the setbacks that are required. In fact, we have a greater rear yard setback where 35 is required. We are providing 38. We will have 10 feet on either side and 40 feet at the front. So in terms of massing and its impact on the neighborhood, we are complying with all of the setback requirements. I can say that we have our elevations here, that the reasoning for my client requesting a slightly larger home is he has a large family and would like to accommodate them in this structure. We also did a rendering, so you can see what it would look like on the last page.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness?
Yeah, can you just explain a little bit how you feel it fits into the neighborhood?
So, interesting, I drove right down the street on my way here, and there's quite the mix of housing types. You have capes, you have split levels, you have larger homes, you have smaller homes, you have really small homes. And there are a few modern structures that are somewhat similar to this. And so I think the massing is totally appropriate for the neighborhood. 35 feet height is allowed in the neighborhood, and we are coming in at 29. So that would be my professional opinion.
And just to follow up on the height, it's 29 is the maximum, but it looks like at some point it's 26. So your average is probably less than 29, is that fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say.
Oh, maybe 27 or something like that? Okay. Ms. Hong?
I have a question. On page 1 of 5 of the plan, right by the signature block, you have NJUC 2021, and then the first floor area and the second floor area. Does the first floor area actually include the garage here?
Yes.
Just on this table?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it does.
That's
So
my
we are allowed
question.
the 450 square foot.
gotcha, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? No questions, okay. Do you want to add anything else?
When we swear you,
Yeah, that's
Mr.
true.
Trindad, I'm sorry, I should have done that before. Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Trindad.
I'm looking to build a house to I'm sorry?
Just bring it closer to you.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's good. Just bring it
Okay.
closer.
Yeah, so I'm looking to build a house to accommodate my growing family. I have children, plus my mom and dad live with me, and that's about it. That's what I wanted to add.
Okay. Does anybody on the board have any, oh,
Clarify. So, Mr. Palermo, I think you said something before, and I just want to clarify this. The current home is, where it sits now, there is a setback?
That's correct, the right side, where the garage is.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that you took that in consideration when you did your plans to make sure that the setbacks were all complied with, and you actually, really?
we're gonna find you.
Can we get that phone?
You
Can you
know,
share what text you got?
I think we want to go back to 1992. So between the current home and the new home, there's actually, it's actually more in compliance with the bulk variances.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
correct? Mm-hmm. All right. And is there, in terms of the overall location of the site, in your opinion as an architect, would that site be able to handle the home of that size?
Yes,
In terms of management of stormwater, utilities, and things like that?
absolutely.
Okay. Does anyone in the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Would anybody in the public like to make a statement regarding this application? Would anybody on the board like to make a statement regarding this application?
I know this, the area there very well, past, I think by this design, the rendering that you showed, I think is gonna really enhance that area and make it look good, so, and for you to not, to make it more confined with the setbacks and everything, so thank you very much.
I was just gonna say that, I appreciate that you eliminated any of the side yard setback issue, and the fact that you also kept the massing of the house down, between the 26 to 28 feet. I just think great job overall.
Yeah, I would just concur, I think it'll add to the neighborhood. I think you kept it well under the square footage requirements, and you're on an undersized lot, which is, we're dealing with a ratio here. So that's what's causing the ratio to be high, is just because you're on a lot that is smaller than the minimum zone. So by definition, your percentage is gonna be higher. But it seems like you did a great job.
I agree with my colleagues. Good job, thank you.
I feel left out, I agree too. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Mr. Kenya, yes, Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes,
Mr. Beer, Mr. Weissman, and Mr. Beer.
Oh, yes, it's still risky, but it looks like it's gonna be a successful risk taken, but very risky.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Block 3804, Lot 11, 14 Charles Street, application number 2025-41-3, Benjamin Coleman. Applicant seeks approval for the rear and side addition in violation of the following section: 170-99C2, front yard setback, 40 feet required, 25.25 feet proposed. 14.75 variance requested. 170-87CC4, habitable floor area ratio, 30% allowed, 40% proposed, 10% variance requested.
Okay, so, Mr. Coleman?
Yes.
Okay, so, Mr. Coleman, I think you were in the audience when I gave the little speech to Mr. Trinidad about your application tonight also includes a floor area ratio, and just like Mr. Trinidad, you'll need the 5 votes. So with that in mind, do you wish to proceed tonight, or do you wish to ask for an adjournment at a later board date when there will be a full complement.
Yeah, point of clarification. I know, as was stated, once we go to vote, I wouldn't be able to change it, but I'm able to kind of see what kind of questions and the way the conversation is going before I make such a determination.
Well, for the benefit of the board, I would say that, if, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your attorney. I'm the board's attorney. But normally, when the board starts, they like to make a decision. They don't, so if we're gonna hear something, you don't have anybody, you're gonna present on your own tonight?
So as I think the 5 out of 7 was strike 1, strike 2 is my professional representation is in labor.
Oh,
Well, I guess his wife is in labor, too.
okay, well, yeah, he's,
Specific.
yeah.
It could have been a girl with a tie.
Yeah, he's really just,
So that's strike 1
he
and
probably
2.
has his phone on silent, I bet.
Yeah.
He's not missing a moment. So, Mr. Coleman, let me say this. Sometimes a strategic retreat is valuable. If your counsel, if you have counsel, although I've been making light of the fact of having attorneys here, but attorneys are very good at giving you guidance. I can't give you guidance. So, obviously that person would be able to be best to give you guidance and input as a meeting goes along. And also, once again, you are running, as we would say, a risk with the fact of losing the one person. But like I said before, Mr. Coleman, if you want to adjourn it, and I'm not sure if you were in the audience at the time, but let me just state it. If it does get adjourned, we would make that announcement so you don't have to do the renotice piece.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, quite frankly. I appreciate the recommendation. Separate from the concerns of the board, I am under some pressure here to move things along. July would not be possible for me, so now I'll be waiting until much later. I think I'll go ahead.
You're going to go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Coleman, when do we get you sworn in?
Sure,
Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Coleman, it's your application.
Sure, in short, looking to put an addition on the house. From a hardship perspective, it's an undersized lot. So there's two variances I'm seeking. The first is the max habitable floor area ratio, as discussed. The second is the front setback. Let me first address the front setback. This is an existing condition. My house is currently not in compliance. I'm not seeking to expand forward. I'm seeking to expand into my side yard. This is the reason, at the same line, it's in the same line as my current house. This is the rationale for why I need that variance. So again, not expanding forward. The main driver of the max habitable floor area ratio, of course, the side addition supports that, but it's really being driven by the desire to add a second story to an addition that was put onto the home in the back of the home before I purchased it. That is, of course, driving the max habitable floor area ratio. So in short, right 30 is allowed. I'm requesting to go above that. My lot is undersized, so the required lot size is 9,375. I'm at 7,500. My lot would have to grow by 25% to be at the required size. It's also of note that we tried our best to not go over the max habitable floor area, which is of course allowed to be 3220, and we're coming in 7% underneath that, slightly over 7% at 3011. I'm under the max building coverage. As is stated by several other people, it's a large family with in-laws, etc. But it seems it's not the most relevant. Important to know that despite going into my side yard, we've not violated the side area, the side setback, and we've left some buffer, in fact, there. The front yard setback, to go back to that, so I'm currently at 25 feet. My neighbors are at 25 feet. We have a survey from the 4 closest dwellings are all plus or minus half a foot of 25 feet. I will be plus or, at 25.2, quite frankly. Happy to take questions. Or another advice to retreat.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for this witness?
The front yard is your grandfather, that's the line, you're not coming front, but you're putting the variance just because you are here today.
I'm sorry, no, I'm not coming farther forward than my
So
current.
you already have where you are right now, right, 22.25?
That's right, so I'm keeping that line, I'm just extending that same line into what's currently my side yard.
Got it.
So it will not come forward. As some other folks here stated, there's a variety of homes on my block. I am keeping the traditional view of a house. My house will look remarkably similar to the way it looks now and to the way it has historically looked, despite the fact I would say that several other houses on the block have sought and obtained variances in, years past for size.
And just for clarification, when you said that the neighbors' houses, when you looked at their surveys or whatever, how many did you look at, for the front yard setback?
We did the closest 4
Okay,
on advice of my architects. Could have gone to 8 or 10 and nothing would have changed, yeah. But
Okay.
I didn't do that, I did 4.
okay.
And with
Two
that-
over for my home is South Zon, for those familiar, it's effectively a park. So I did up until the park, which is what we did.
Right, and then going to Mr. Sherman's question, normally when you would have this type of, as the board's aware, you normally have this type of survey of the homes in the area and that they're all technically within that same distance. There's an allowance in the ordinance that technically renders it a non-variance condition.
Yes.
Because they're all the same frontage.
Correct.
So I'm just looking at, it's tough to tell, but so you have your existing front stairs, at the edge of your front stairs.
Correct.
Is that, I'm just looking at the plans, it looks like your addition is gonna line up with the bottom of your existing front stairs? Does that sound right?
Sorry, no, my front stairs will become a little bit larger left-right, not front-back. Like, the front stairs will not move closer to the street.
Right,
I'm gonna make my front stoop a little bit larger, left-right.
left to right, right.
Right, and in addition, if you ignore those front stairs and just look at the front of the actual dwelling, that line will continue into the left. So, less the front stairs, the front line of the house will continue into my side yard, and my front stairs will become a little bit wider, not deeper.
Right.
For, honestly, safety, yeah. So, I don't have a mouse here, can I get up and point here, or?
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful, because
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just me that,
Yeah, let's take this. Nope. Oh, that mic looks great. So in short, this area here is my current front steps, right?
yep,
This will become my front steps, right? So again, not extending it forward. This is the current front of my home.
yep,
It will extend here into the side yard, not violating and leaving a buffer on the side yard.
right. Okay. Right, right. Okay, yeah.
And just for clarity, the attic is not going to be used as a living area?
No, it's uninhabitable. It's not temperature controlled, it's not.
And therefore, no problem making that part of the variance, a condition.
What's that?
If this passes, you have no problem making that a condition of approval.
Correct, it's not part of our plans to make the attic. The attic is not,
It's something we like to clarify.
Sure.
Does anybody else have any questions for this witness? I know. Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any statements they'd like to make regarding this application? Does anybody on the board want to make any statements regarding this application? Does anybody on the board want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll second.
Mr. Kenny, yes. Mr.
okay.
Weissman?
Approved.
Okay, Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Motion carries. We should
Thank-
take you to Atlantic City as well.
Thank you guys very much.
Okay, congratulations. Okay, block 5700, lot 12, 37,
We got a lot of
sorry,
confidence.
327 West Northfield Road, application number 2025-38-V. Pardon my pronunciation, Marius and Amanda Strauss. Applicant seeks approval for the addition in violation of the following section, 170-98C3, right side yard setback 10 feet required, 8.88 feet proposed, which is existing, 1.12 feet variance requested. 170-87CC3, habitable floor area, ratio 21% allowed, 23% proposed, 2% variance requested.
Okay, welcome aboard. Thank you. You want to swear people in?
Yeah, and I'm done with my admonitions. You've heard it before, and you won't hear it again. All right, can we find out, are you the homeowner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're the architect?
Architect, yeah.
Okay, once again, good guess, no tie. Okay, so why don't, sir, are you gonna, as the homeowner, you're gonna testify as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why don't we swear you both in? Do you swear to tell the truth before the zoning board tonight?
I do. Yes.
Okay, and so we're gonna call your architect first,
Sure.
right? So why don't we get your name on the record, sir?
Yep, Charles Millette. I'm licensed by the state of New Jersey, have been since 1989. Graduated from the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C.
And your licenses are current and in good standing?
Yes.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture. All yours.
Okay, so what we have here is a 1.5-story brick 1950s style home. It's consistent with the neighborhood. And what the homeowners are looking to do is to put a minor addition on the front to add 477 square feet, 144 square feet on the first floor and 333 to the attic. Existing square footage is 2209. The variance, well, let me explain the additions. On the first floor, it's a mudroom and a pantry and a slight addition to the existing garage, one-car garage. We're proposing 58 square feet to be added to this garage. And the second floor is to add to an attic that's currently a living space. The floor area ratio, what we're doing there is the requirement is 21%, and we're proposing 23%, so it's very close. And the lot is non-conforming as it is undersized. Requirement is 15,000 square feet, and it is 11,880. It's in the R3 zone, single family. That is most of the information, I think. If you have any questions.
Just clarify on the right side yard setback on the property, that the right side yard setback variance would be for what's already pre-existing?
It's a non-conforming pre-existing, yes.
Right, so there's no, you're not moving it any further into the right yard, you just may be moving it along the property line?
Right in line.
Right.
With the existing house.
Okay, so there's no further violation, but it would be impractical for you to resolve the bulk variance. You'd have to chop off a bit of the home.
Right, yes.
Anyone on the board have any questions for this witness?
I have a question. I may have missed what you said. What's the proposed square footages?
So the existing is 2209, living? Living?
The habitable floor area, the proposed.
The proposed is 26, 86.
86. So basically, you're filling that area next to the garage and then bring that wall up front, right?
Yes,
Okay, right here. Thank you.
roughly about 22% of the existing living that we're proposing.
I have a question. There's attic space in that's usable?
Yes,
Okay. And that's included in the square footage, right?
yes, that's included in the living, yes.
And is that just over the garage area, or does that go all the way down the house?
That, if I may,
Yeah.
that, basically, the attic was finished off when I purchased the house in 2007. I did some work up there. And we finished it off. We use it as our master bedroom right now. So the area that's being proposed, the extension, we would basically extend that area out over it. So
Okay.
it would be usable still.
And so the whole attic across the entire house is usable?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's one mechanical room where we have the AC unit. That's the only thing that's not usable, but everything else is, yes, sir.
That's where you sleep when you're in trouble.
And not in trouble.
Are there any other questions for this witness from the board? Does anybody in the public want to ask any questions of this witness? Does anybody in the public want to make any statements regarding this application? Does anybody on the board want to make any statements? Does anybody on the board want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve.
I second.
Okay, Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Kenya, yes. Mr. Wiseman,
Yes.
Mr. Beer,
Yes.
motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next case, variance, block 1101, lot 39, 24 Bryant Drive, application number 2025-14-3, Manuel Vega. Applicant seeks approval for an increased width and depth of original approved house by zoning department and addition of a dormer in the rear of the home, creating a third floor in violation of the following section: 170-87 BB4 habitable floor area, 3220 square feet allowed, 4135 square feet proposed, 915 square feet variance requested.
Welcome.
Thank you, Richard Skolnick, on behalf of the applicant, Manuel Vega. I have a tie on. I am an attorney.
We could spot you a mile away.
I'm not in labor, so I'm here. As you mentioned, Chairman, 24 Bryant Drive, Block 1101, Lot 39. On the tax maps, my client currently lives next door with his family at 22 Bryant, and this is an application for just 1C variance, 1C, for maximum habitable floor area in the R4 zone. You're certainly aware that 3220 square feet is permitted, and we're proposing 4135, so we're 915 square feet over. The proposal meets all other bulk requirements, including FAR, setbacks, and so on. The proposed FAR is .22, so we're well under the .30. I know we have what is essentially a double-size lot in the R2 zone with 9,375 square feet permitted, or required, shall I say, and we have over 18,000 square feet on this lot, so we're approximately double the size. I note, importantly, that there was an issue with construction, with too much being built in a manner that was not authorized. My client deeply regrets what has happened. He has learned an important lesson about the process, and we're here to fix those mistakes and to produce an appropriately sized house that substantially complies with the township's guidelines and is compatible for the property and for the overall neighborhood. To clarify one aspect, there is an existing roof on the structure that's out there today with some dormers. That's going to have to be taken off, and we'll clarify that with the plans. There was an issue with the roof height not being constructed in accordance with the plans. The roof of this house is going to have to come off and be redone to eliminate some of that square footage overall. So I want to try to make that clear. I have for you tonight a planner, Donna Holmquist, who's going to go through the planning issues that we have. And I also have an architect, David Buckman. He's a backup architect. An architect who prepared the plans is on vacation tonight, but your dates are highly sought after, so we wanted to try to go forward. Mr. Buckman has reviewed the plans carefully, and if you have any questions, he's prepared to answer those. I may put him on and see how things are going, and of course, my client is here if you have any questions as well. If I may, Chairman, I'll go right to the planner, qualify her, and have her go through the plans and the planning considerations for this 1C variance that's before you. Okay, can I have her sworn, please?
Do you swear affirm tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Donna Holmquist, Holmqvist. I'm the CEO and founder of Preferred Planning Group, LLC. My business address is 110 Chestnut Ridge Road, Suite 192, Montvale, New Jersey, 07645. I can give my qualifications for the board as well. I've been licensed as a professional planner in New Jersey since 1990. I'm also a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. I hold a Master of Urban Planning degree from New York University. I've been accepted as a professional planning expert in over 130 communities in New York and New Jersey. I've also testified as an expert witness in federal court on behalf of the Borough of Emerson and its mayor, in tax court on behalf of the Borough of Woodcliff Lake, and also Superior Court, Morris County, and Bergen County, and Municipal Court.
Okay.
And your licenses are current?
Yes, yes,
Does
yes.
anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as an expert in professional planning.
We appreciate that, Chairman. Donna, you've had an opportunity to review the plans and the neighborhood and the tax maps. Could you provide for the board the benefit of your analysis, given the criteria for the C variance that's at stake tonight?
Yes, I have looked at the plans. I've looked at your master plan, your zoning regulations. I've also seen the neighborhood and the subject site. And I've also prepared exhibits for this evening that we can project on the screen. I also have handouts for you. What I want to explain to the board is the characteristics of this property and why I think the size of the home that is proposed, 4,135 square feet, is appropriate given the unique conditions of this property, the characteristics of the neighborhood, and the specifics of your zoning ordinance and master plan. So having given the prelude, I'll step into my testimony. The first exhibit that I would like to present
we have called existing conditions.
All right, well, we'll mark that as A1, Mrs. Skolnick.
Perfect.
And I should give this to Jackie?
Right, do we only, right.
Yes.
Do we have extras for the board, or? Okay. Hmm?
Yeah, please.
It's just one.
Yes.
Okay. We're good.
So I'll begin my testimony as that's being arranged. In reviewing the township standards, really our variance has to do with the maximum 3,220 square foot allowance for floor space. I'll call it floor space, habitable floor area. We comply with the FAR and every other zoning standards. It's merely the floor space that exceeds the 3,220 square feet. When I looked at your ordinance, it seemed that this concern was referenced in your master plan about, quote, McMansions, and that concern seemed to arise in the borough in about 2006. I do not think that the standards have been amended since 2006. I couldn't find anything. And so, in my opinion as a planner, it was developed in 2006 and it has stood in Livingston. Of course, you have different standards for the different zones, but we are in the R4 zone. So that is the square footage we're here to ask for relief from this evening. I don't have to tell you that Livingston is an extremely affluent town, a very sought-after town, excellent quality of life, and as a developed, mature suburb, there is a scarcity of vacant land. And so what we're seeing in neighborhoods such as Bryant Drive and throughout the township is new homeowners coming in and wanting to either renovate or demolish and rebuild homes. And of course, the township wants to make sure that those renovations and new construction are consistent and compatible with the quality of life for all township residents. Post-COVID, we have an increase in house size, and we all know why that is. Because remote work, remote learning has become a way of life, even though we don't have to contend with the pandemic anymore. Having dedicated rooms for office space is pretty much mandatory for homes. There's also an emphasis on health and wellness in society. And people want home gyms, home gym space, cardio areas, places for yoga, Pilates, meditation, etc., separated from the rest of the home. Also, home recreation and entertainment in the last few years with streaming, VR, gaming as well. Immersive home theaters has become a way of life, along with card games, billiards, etc. Spa-like bathrooms with freestanding soaking tubs, dual vanities, extensive counter space, large shower, gourmet kitchens, perhaps with dual islands for a lot of extra space and storage. And of course, the bedrooms having an emphasis on walk-in closets that may also serve as boutique-style storage for clothing, also accessories, drawers for accessories and jewelry, display areas for ladies' handbags and shoes, and also multi-car garages. So when I add up about the minimum of all those amenities that are part of our modern lifestyle, and especially an affluent lifestyle, such as Livingston residents, I come up with about 2,000 square feet. I'll break that down for you. Dedicated office is about 100 square feet. A home gym maybe 250 square feet. Recreation entertainment area is 300 square feet. Spa-like bathroom maybe 200 square feet. Gourmet kitchen 400 square feet. Storage as in walk-in closets, maybe 150 square feet. And of course, a multi-car garage could be as much as 600 square feet. That's how I come up with that 2,000. This is what an affluent homeowner is looking for, especially one that has a family. And that is something to be mindful of with this maximum 3,220 square foot that is uniform in the R4 zone, irregardless of the lot area. And I'll describe our lot characteristics, but the thing you really need to be aware of is we have almost double the size. The minimum lot area in the R4 is 9,375 square feet, and we're over 18,000 square feet. Shifting to the figure, we took a base map here from a company we subscribe to. It's called NearMap. It's an Australian company. They have digital elevation models. I can get the elevation for properties. 2D, which you're looking at, aerial imagery. This image is from March 19th, 2025. I like NearMap because they're extremely updated, unlike other free services. And we can also look at things in 3D and rotate it around. So even before I go out and see a property, I have an extremely detailed image in my mind of what the site characteristics are and also its relationship to the surrounding area. So what we're depicting on here is our site with the arrows pointing towards it. And I want to take you from the bottom left up around in a clockwise fashion of the major characteristics that I think you should be considering in our request for a variance for the habitable floor area. Firstly, our lot is extremely deep. I mentioned that we're very oversized, almost double the size. We're also very deep compared to the standard of a 75 by 125. Our lot is about 248 feet deep. That enables us to have an extremely large rear yard setback. Our setback is about 135 feet to the rear lot line. We have cantilevered the second story in the back of the building, so we're adding visual differentiation to the facade of the rear facade, which I think is a design benefit. Looking at the building coverage, we're only about half of the allowable building coverage for this site. We are allowed 22.15, and we're only at 12.34. So we're significantly under the coverage. The lot area I mentioned is much larger than the minimum. And the design amenities, which we have on this site, include a 2-car garage, numerous walk-in closets, a mudroom, a pantry, an office, and an upper floor laundry room, a dedicated laundry room. And the bedrooms are en suite where they have immediate access to a bathroom associated with that bedroom. That's another something that is very popular now, which probably was not so much when the original home was built. This neighborhood consists of many split-level homes, some of which have been renovated. There's also some new construction that we point out towards the east end of Bryant Drive.
Donna, can you touch on the FAR, the ratio, and where we stack up and how that lends itself to your analysis?
Yes. The permitted FAR in the zone is 0.3, and we are at 0.2252, considerably under that. The major requirements that we're significantly under or exceed the requirements is, as I said, the rear yard. Of course, we comply with all the other yard setbacks, but rear yard is only required to be 35 feet in this zone, and we have 135.1. We comply with the maximum building height. The maximum allowable is 2.5 stories and 35 feet. We're at 2.5 stories and 33.2 feet, so we are under that. Building coverage, as I said, allowed 22.15. That works off the formula in your ordinance. And we are at only 12.34, so about half of the coverage that would be allowed. Habitable floor area, of course, we're asking for relief, and the floor area ratio, again, is allowed 0.3, and we are significantly under at 0.2252. So this lot is in substantial conformance with the R4 requirements. It is only the square footage of what the township calls habitable floor area that we are not in conformance with.
And Donna, of course, we have the two baskets, if you will, the C1 criteria and the C2 criteria. Can you give the board the benefit of your analysis? You've really talked about some of the negative criteria with the lack of detriments, but can you offer the board your thoughts on the C2 first and then the C1 after that?
Right, well, C2 is the benefits outweigh the detriments. The benefits of granting the relief outweigh any potential detriments. And of course, we need to meet the negative criteria on that as well. And regarding this lot, its configuration, I think, allows us to have this 4,135 square foot dwelling without having any negative impact on the surrounding neighborhood. And because we meet the minimum lot width and the structure extends backward, there is no issue with massing or overwhelming bulk to the neighborhood from this 4,135 square foot structure. I think based on the numbers, 3220 versus 4135, that may give the board trepidation, but I think when you look into the finer details of the analysis, it is not an overwhelming number, given the size of our lot and the configuration that we are proposing this dwelling to have.
Can you cite to any of the goals of zoning in Section 2 of the municipal land use law that are furthered by this proposal?
Yes, we have providing light, air, and open space. This is per the MLUL Section 4055D-2, the purposes of planning. C, providing adequate light, air, and open space, and also subsection E, promoting and establishing appropriate population densities. Again, this gets into the size of the lot area compared to what is allowed. We have a zone that calls for 9,375 square feet, which if I look at that as dwelling units per acre, that's a zone density of 4.6 dwelling units per acre. And our lot is almost double that at 18,358. And again, looking at that in terms of dwelling units per acre, we only have the equivalent in terms of density of 2.37. So it's half the density. So we are under the FAR, under the coverage, comply with all the setbacks, and we're only asking for this overage of floor area, habitable floor area, as per the ordinance definition, where, of course, we have to include part of the garage in that calculation. We're allowed to exempt 450 square feet. And getting to what I said before about the amenities that houses have now, our laundry area, based on our floor plan, our laundry area is about 62 square feet. Our walk-in closets, if you look at all of them combined, are about 252 square feet. And our garage is 507 square feet. So if I separate out the exemption of the 450, that leaves 57. So if I add the laundry, the closets, and the remainder of the garage, the 57 square feet, I get 371 square feet. That, in my opinion, is not really habitable floor area. Okay, I understand in the township's definition it is, but in my opinion as a planner, I think we should be looking at practical matters here of how much space in this 4,135 square foot dwelling is occupied by these amenities. And so when I look at that combined 371 square feet and divide that by our total floor area of 4,135, I submit to you that about 9% of this dwelling is eaten up by those three things: walk-in closets, dedicated laundry room, and the non-exempted portion of the garage. I think that's very substantial and something that weighs in here with how appropriate what we have is. I do want to direct the board's attention to a second exhibit that I've prepared, and I have it on the screen, and I have it as
We'll
handout.
call it Exhibit A2.
And what do you want to call this, Donna?
That's figure 2. The other one, I'm sorry, was figure 1.
Okay. Okay, and can you explain what we have here?
Right, so we wanted to look at the characteristics of the neighborhood, demographic characteristics, and use that as support for what we're submitting, that this is a reasonably sized home, given its location within Livingston and within this neighborhood. We've delineated a 10-minute walking distance on the red line that's labeled 10 minutes. And we tried to make this as clear as possible. You can see that up on the upper right where is the interchange of I-280. And then, of course, the big green area on the northern part is Becker Park. That red line on the top pretty much follows the borough of Roseland, Livingston Township border. And then we have showing the parks in the area. That would be Riker Hill Art Park. And moving to the east, we have Northland Park. There's tremendous park area. The Northland Park is almost 52 acres. And just on the opposite side of North Livingston Avenue, opposite the Northland Park, is, of course, the elementary school for the K through 5 crowd. So we took this delineation, which also follows census block designation. It almost overlays perfectly. We did it a 10-minute walking distance, but when we also correlated that to US Census block, it's pretty much identical. We then looked at a source called Esri. They're a huge global geospatial analytical business that we subscribe to with ArcGIS, you may have heard. We also subscribe to Business Analyst. Business Analyst breaks down demographic statistics to a customized area. Here we did 10 minutes because I felt like that was a big enough area that we could get some good demographic data for what are we dealing with here.
And what are we trying to learn from this exhibit?
Right,
would you
right.
say?
So Esri uses US Census data. They also extrapolate from the American Community Survey, which is 5-year census estimates. And then Esri does their algorithms, and then they give us this 10-minute walking distance breakdown of whatever demographics we want. So what we felt was most appropriate here to call your attention to is what's in the bubble down on the bottom left. And that is only for this 10-minute walking distance. The key characteristics are that 41% of the existing households in this 10-minute area consist of 4 or more persons. So moderate to large families, I would say, as a planner. Household income, average income, this is not median income, this is average household income, I think quite high and indicative of the status of Livingston residents and their expectations for housing and amenities. Esri says $254,423 is the average income of households in this 10-minute walking distance. About 5% of the homes are 1 million or greater. I know from looking at some of the newer construction sales to the east on Bryant, the sales of similar type houses on Bryant that are new construction as recent as 2024 are in the field of 1.6 million. So I think I'm being very conservative here using Esri data. The most significant demographic statistic regarding housing and it should come as no surprise to you, although it surprised me a bit, was the age of housing in this 10-minute area. That 82% of it was built before 1970. I think that's why the township is experiencing some pressure in terms of turnover, modernization, and new construction of housing.
I take it this goes into your argument about the appropriateness of the size of the house, that all these factors play into that positive criteria of an appropriate density.
Mrs. Skolnick, you wouldn't be arguing that poor people should have lesser sized houses?
No, not that.
Because that's, you know, quite honestly,
We didn't make.
most of the testimony really isn't really on planning as much as it is on economics. And to be quite frank with you, you know, I'm not sure that most of this was relevant. And be quite and also to state this, stating the average household income is not a basis for approving any zoning application, regardless of whether they're in Livingston or any other community in the state of New Jersey. And the size of one's wallet should not equal the type of amenities that anybody has. Now, I understand that that's stating what expectations are, but be quite honest with you, I'm not sure that's exactly appropriate planning testimony. So can we, let's get to the heart of the matter and let's move it along. We have 4 other applications tonight, and we're
Fair enough.
it's a C variance, so we're kind of gilding the lily here.
Fair enough. We appreciate it. We were just trying to give the board some background on the pressures and the size of the house. So we'll move on. Donna, let's try to.
Yes, the statutory criteria is the last thing I'm going to touch on for the board's consideration. We see this as C1, C2, mostly C2, where we have a better zoning alternative because we have an oversized property, we have substantial depth, and we can meet every other zoning standard of the R4 zone. Regarding the negative criteria, the master plan, we are compliant with the intent, which is to have properties that fit in with the neighborhood and do not create any adverse conditions for existing residents or neighborhoods. I think it is significant that most of the housing was built before 1970 in this area. The other part of the negative criteria is no substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance. I do not think that, given the characteristics of this site, our overage from 3,220 to 4,135 is detrimental. It will accommodate a family of 4, which is consistent with the neighborhood characteristics. And again, we comply with every other zoning standard. And so in conclusion, I would ask you to approve this variance in accordance with the MLUL and the standards of planning.
Thank you, Ms. Holmquist.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness?
Yeah, I'm just confused about at the beginning about the third, because right now the attic is really a third floor. There's windows on every single side. So are you saying that what I'm calling a third floor is going to become a true attic?
Yeah.
So that there's not going to be any square, are the windows going to get closed in, or are those windows going to remain, or some of those windows are going to remain, or?
I have to bring the architect. I think the answer is yes, but we'll have the architect explain that so that the board could be clear.
Because I'm curious, because I think what we're just here is we're already ignoring that, and the rest of the house under that is the 4135. The violation, or the stop order that was issued in November, was that because of it was because of the second and third floor combined, so it was coming out to be a 6,000, I just want to know what we're looking at,
Yeah,
6,000 square foot house?
It was about 5.
It's about 5,
It was about 5. Let's call that the attic part about 1,300. So
1,300,
I got
okay.
this case, and I said to the client, you can't go forward. There was some discussion at the municipal level of a new ordinance that was going to change that. That did not happen. So that roof line has to go back. I could have the architect confirm that. So the 915 is the rest of it, and there was about another 1,300 that, in the plans, it has to come off that attic line. So, David, can you answer the question?
One second, let's finish with the planner.
Okay.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for the planner? I'll ask for one clarification. You said you considered the closets and the laundry room kind of dead space. That's the same for every house that has any of that stuff. So it's a point, but our zoning really goes to the size of the house, including everything. You can make the closet the whole floor or have no closet, right? So, okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Unless we update the manual going forward not to include that.
Yeah. Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Back to you, Mr. Skolnick.
Okay, David, can you come up, get sworn in, quickly qualified, and hopefully can answer the question.
Okay. All right, let's get him sworn in. Okay. Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, my name is David Buckman. It's Buckman. I am a licensed architect. I graduated Pratt Institute last century, 1985, and I'm licensed in many states, one of which is New Jersey. My license in New Jersey is 11806.
And David, you've testified and been recognized as an architect before many boards?
Many times, many times. Here, too, it's been quite a while, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
You heard the one question, let's just try to get to it,
Yes.
because the board's
Mr.
concerned.
Skolnick, hold. I'm very excited, Mr. Skolnick. That's how we get as
Trying to
attorneys.
move it along.
I know, you're
Now
doing.
it's the board.
We appreciate it, Mr. Skolnick.
Thank you.
Chairman, why don't you finish out?
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture.
Thank you, we appreciate
right,
that.
go
Okay,
ahead.
David, did you
So
understand?
the question, I
Yes.
believe the question we're talking about now was, were there windows? I mean, well, let me just say, I have reviewed the drawings. I'm here as a pinch hitter. I'm not the architect of record. I think the architect did a very good job of design, and I agree with, I've looked at I've done calculations on the square footages. I agree that they are what they are. The question with the windows on the attic, there used to be a lot more windows. You're right, there are some windows still up in the attic. I think I just started to count just now, I think 5. Small dormer, and I think 5 others. There used to be a large dormer that was taken out, and as was testified, the whole roof will be extensively worked on because of the error made. So the square footage will be substantially decreased due to this. Now, I also see, I think the windows that you see on the 3rd floor here are smaller than the normal bedroom windows, which makes it inhabitable legally because they're not legal for firefighters to get in. So they're smally sized. It wouldn't be that would tell me it's not intended and should not be a habitable space.
Did we answer the question?
Is that?
Can we just hold for 1 second? She
Sure.
has to take an important phone call, so please. And otherwise you
Good
don't
luck.
have anybody. So
Understood.
we'll be a little short. 5-minute adjournment.
She said it was her son. I knew it wasn't her husband because that would be.
Why don't we just, if you want to step away for a second, Mr. Skolnick, it's
Okay,
going to be a
so we'll
sec,
just
going to
take
be
a
a
break
second.
for a second.
Yeah.
put my client on for a second. I think he's
Sure.
going to be able to explain it better.
All right.
If you don't mind.
Whoever.
He doesn't have to get qualified.
it's
Manny, you
your-
want to
your
get up
day.
there? Okay.
Just need to,
David, stay here.
Just need to swear him in.
Yep.
This, Mr. Vega, right? Yes. Okay, just make sure you get by the microphone.
Right by the microphone.
Yeah, that'd be perfect, Mr. Vega. Mr. Vega, do you swear affirm to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes.
Okay, you're the property owner, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Skolnick?
Okay, Mr. Vega, just want to have, one word to explain to the board here, and then we'll go to the question.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say I'm sorry. I made a mistake. And after I made a mistake, I went to the town and I will address this out. I didn't thought that this is going to be like a bigger problem, because since when I started the plans to start planning this project, I had 3 daughters at that moment, my wife. So we was thinking just to do like 4 bedrooms. And then once the process goes through, we find out that my wife was pregnant, and we had our 4 kids. So actually we got 4 kids, got 3 girls and a boy. And then everything got approved already, and I started building, but I started demo the house by that time. So, and then I built the house without thinking these things. But like I said, I want to say I'm sorry about that. And I want to address this issue. That's why I'm here. And I would like to answer all the questions that you have about the roof. I think one of the members were there at the house. They were checking, the attic, things like that. So the attic, originally, the way it got built, it has a big dorm on the back that we're counting as a 3rd floor. But since we're going on the variance just for the 900 square footage of the variance, the attic is going to be completely, like the dormer is going to be completely removed. The windows on the back is going to get completely removed, and it's going to be just like just the way it got approved before at the beginning, just roof. The windows will be just on the 2 sides of the small windows on the 2 sides, and then the roof will get back to the same where that was approved at the beginning.
So we're going to have to follow the plans
Yeah, we have
as
to
they're
follow
on
them.
file now.
Actually, that's the plans that you have there, and where they got like a circle on it, that's the dormers that get removed.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for this witness?
Mr. Vega, just to clarify. So, after you received the violation and then retaining Mr. Skolnick and retaining the architect, you then are effectively reducing the size of the building you've already built.
Yes.
You're physically removing portions of the home that you've already expended money to build
Yes.
in order to get closer to the standard.
Yes.
So I would it be fair to say you learned a lesson?
Very hard.
Okay, I think it was both in your pocketbook and in your time. And just for clarification, I think I see it on the plans, but this attic is only serviceable by a pull-down set of stairs?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And there's otherwise no plumbing run up to the attic?
Nothing.
Nor will there be?
No building will be, just pull down like a storage or something, so it's not proposed to do any finished attic.
So no living space?
No
in the
living
attic.
space, no. It's a pull downstairs.
I do have one question. The original plans were for 3220 square feet?
Yes.
So how did we get to 900, whatever the number was over, I forget offhand, if we're getting rid of the attic?
Because
Do we have a bigger footprint than the original plans?
because on the top of the garage, the wall was stepping back, and I built the extra room on top of the garage.
So we, lesson learned or lesson not learned, we just went hog wild from the plans and just built like crazy. So you're not going back to the existing plans. We're going back to some modified plans from what the building department approved before you started building.
Yes, but the roof is going to be the same that was approved before.
Understood.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously lesson learned, but we have rules and regulations for reasons. And it makes it very difficult on the board to go back and say, forgive me, I just built crazy because it was approved and now I did something different, but I'd like to hear.
We
from-
understand
Yeah.
that. I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
apologizing.
No, I understood your apology, and people do make mistakes, but we don't want to rash of this around town.
We appreciate that, Chairman. We are not coming before the board and suggesting the board has to approve this because it was built. That's not a case I would present to any board.
Of course.
In the
No,
state,
understood.
in the state of New Jersey. We're here to say, as Donna said, that given all of the factors and the compliance with the FAR and all of the other bulk requirements and the double-size lot, that the C2 criteria, maybe with a little C1 thrown on for that double-size lot as a unique physical condition, give enough information for the board to approve, should it decide to, not because it was built. That wouldn't be legally viable, and we appreciate the difficult position that can place a board in.
Does anybody on the board have any other questions?
I do.
Oh, please.
I have two questions. First is the house also having a full basement?
Excuse me?
Will the house also have a full basement?
Yes, it does.
And it will be finished?
I propose, as now, is that it's unfinished on the plan?
On the plan,
plans?
it does not give the
Yeah, but,
basement layout, so that's why I'm asking.
So I asked the building department, they told me that either I finish or didn't finish, it won't count as a habitable floor. But as of now, I have a unfinished basement.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my second question is, what kind of like roof work you have to redo?
So I have to redo like 60% of the roof. Have to remove pretty much like the whole back, like half of the roof from the back of the side. It has to get removed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also just confused also on the roof part and like which windows, et cetera, it's kind of confusing as to what's staying and what's going, because there's no plan that shows.
So now, the way you have there, that's the way it's going to be built. So that's the way that it's going to be built without the roof.
So like on the front of the house, you have this dormer like in the front on the attic, and then you have these other two windows flanking that dormer that are also within the attic.
Yeah, that's
Right.
in the attic. Yeah, that's a small
And
window.
then you got another one on the side, another two on the side, you got another one on the other side, and you got another two on the other side, another two in the back. For an area that's not gonna be living space. It's a concern.
If it needs to get removed, I'm willing to close all the windows as necessary. It's just for the aesthetic, like view of the house. This window that the architect added on. But if it needs to get removed, I will remove.
So you could accept that as a condition of
As a
approval?
condition, I can accept as a condition if I need to eliminate as many windows as the board requires.
And just to clarify, that would be, you were saying the windows are mostly for an aesthetic purpose. So realistically, we're talking about windows towards the front as opposed to the sides or the back. So windows towards the sides and the back probably could be the areas for elimination
Yeah.
rather than.
I won't have a
Than the
problem
front.
to remove those windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've made the argument that there's a very large backyard already, so.
Any other questions on the board? Anybody in the public have any questions for either of the witnesses? Do you have any okay, come on up. That was my next thing, so why not?
Hi, my name is Oksana Yaremko. I'm surprised
One second.
that you can,
Need the address.
29 Orchard Lane. Just, this is my first time I'm listening
It's
to
okay.
this.
I'm sorry, public, we got to the point, public comment. Do you swear affirm and tell the truth before the zoning board tonight?
Yes.
Okay, now you can go, sorry.
Okay, I swear I've never been to any of these meetings before.
That's quite all right.
Very lucky.
I am. And now I see why. But I am surprised because I've dealt with the buildings department 40 years ago, and we had to provide good plans. And when they didn't, when the plans were not good, they sent them back to us, and we had to redraw them. I'm surprised that you are confused with the plans. Why don't you send them back to them and say, redraw the plans so we know what it looks like and what you're gonna do?
Let me explain that. We get these plans a week in advance, approximately. And for the variances that are presented, we look at the plans, we go to the site, we look at them, and then we come here. We're not involved with the planning board, with the zoning board, right? The planning board would get it, we don't like it, it goes back and forth, and once it gets past that point, and there's a variance, then it comes to us.
Okay.
So we're kind of in the dark until a week before, like
Well, it
last
seems to me
Wednesday.
that the plans aren't really well drawn if you can't understand them.
I think, just to clarify, I think, and I don't want to put words into Mr. Sherman's mouth, but I think the issue here is somewhat unique in the fact that we have a building that's built. So I think that the question really is the relationship between the built item and the item shown on the plan, which is unusual.
Correct.
Under these
If you go to the
circumstances.
site, it looks different than what we're seeing here.
I know, I'm an engineer, I've been an engineer.
Okay, I'm an
And I've
engineer
looked
too.
at plans, and
So
I'm surprised that you didn't require a before and
I
an after.
can't. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
We get this as we got it. There was a problem in the field. They went to the town. The town said, no good, go get a variance. And they're here explaining it to us. That's all it is.
Okay.
So, yep,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Does anybody else have a comment? Come on up. Yeah.
All right, can you state your name and address, please?
Yes, Paula Vega, 22 Bryant Drive.
Okay, do you swear affirm and tell the truth before the zoning board tonight?
I do, I swear.
Okay, go ahead, make your comment.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you for your time and your service to our town. My name is Paula Vega. My parents are in the hearing today. I'm currently a student at NYU Stern. Mr. Weissman, Donna, it's an honor to speak in front of fellow alumni. And I would like to start by saying that this project is very meaningful for my family and I. It represents our commitment and our love to our Livingston community, which stands behind us today. And we want to make sure that our design and the build of the home is respectful of the neighborhood. Having said this, we understand the importance of zoning laws to maintain harmony in communities, and we are willing to make any changes and adapt as is necessary to continue with the build of this project. And I hope you can understand that we are not just building a home, we are investing in our future and in the town. Thank you for your time, and I can take any follow-up questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Okay. Sir, would you like to come up?
I recommend to state.
Please.
Can you please state and state your name and the address?
My name is Louis Adelson. Everybody calls me Jerry. So I live at 26 Bryant Drive, the house next door.
Okay. Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
First of all, I'd like to say that the house is there. As the next door neighbor, I can see it. I appreciate what's there. It does not bother me that the house is larger than my house or that it's larger than some of the other houses in the neighborhood. we're very comfortable, my wife and I are very comfortable with the size of the house as it is. We would like to see the work get finished as quickly as possible, and the more you ask him to take off, the more and change the house, the longer we're going to have a disturbance next to our house. The Vegas have been our neighbor for a number of years. They're very good neighbors. They're very cooperative. We're very comfortable with them, with the house that they've built, and we like to keep it as is if possible, minimum amount of change so that there's less disturbance. My wife is home a lot, and the construction is a disturbance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Come on up.
I'm gonna get the hang of this now. Can you please state your name and address?
Scott Singer, 23 Bryant Drive.
Okay, and do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Well, you've heard from the experts, you've heard from the daughter, you've heard from a neighbor on the side, and now you're going to hear from the neighbor directly across the street. I'm not going to speak to the architectural drawings or the plans or what's in or out of the house. I will speak to the person and the family. He's an individual who's very active in the town, volunteers a lot of his time, maybe made some mistakes with his building that he's certainly learned a monetary lesson from. But I will tell you, the individual is an honest man, volunteers his time, helps everybody in the neighborhood with everything. Goes up and down the block, helping everybody. He's very well loved in the neighborhood. Regarding the size of the house, if you've all driven up and down Bryant Drive, half the houses on the block have been knocked down and McMansions have been built. Up and down Bryant Drive. I think this young lady was a little low in her price of the homes because they're all going up and they're all $2 million homes. I don't have one of those. I've got a small split level. But my time up here is to tell you that he's learned his mistakes. He's paying for it in more ways than one. And I urge the board to approve his variance. It's a beautiful home the way it is. It'll be beautiful whichever way you force him to make it. And I thank you for your time.
Thanks, Scott. Anybody left? Oh, come on up. I knew there was got to be one more.
Name and address for the record, ma'am?
Melissa Blanksinger, 23 Bryant Drive, and I normally have to have a drink before I speak in public.
Do you
And I
swear
don't.
do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board
I
tonight?
do.
Despite
I
the
do.
fact we don't provide drinks.
You might.
Okay, we'll think about it for next time. Go
Okay.
ahead, ma'am.
I also have to say, the Vegas moved into the neighborhood six years ago. Seven. She's going to be 7 when their youngest daughter was going to be born. They have only added love, beauty in their home, and to what they've helped us look our home as our garden and everything looks like now. They don't deserve to have any more aggravation about it because he's willing, as he has said, to do anything that you need. I don't think plans have to go back and forth whether or not you can do that. And I just wanted to say that the whole neighborhood really is very happy with everything there. That's it.
Thank you. I think we got everybody in that corner. Although, sir, you haven't come up yet. We got one. Okay, I think that's it. Is anybody on the, do you want to have any closing statements before we go to us?
No, Chair, I think the board has a good understanding of the issues.
Does anybody on the board want to make any statements?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, and I'm hoping my usually I'm trying to influence the board. Here, I'm hoping they go against me. Sounds very nice. I love to hear this, the neighbors come up, in support. Usually it's a fight, so you've done a great job. So I appreciate all that. Again, everyone may disagree, and that would be great, because it sounds, and I've seen the house, and it looks like it's gonna be beautiful. I can't picture exactly how it's gonna be after the fact. I have a problem legally. I just feel like, I don't think there's any hardship, so I don't see any C1 that I could use to justify this. And in terms of the, using that substantial, benefits substantially outweighing, I don't see this particular piece of property, for me, giving me the wherewithal to have a legal justification versus any other property, and we're just looking at this property in the neighborhood. The one thing would be, I believe, is you call it a double-sized lot. If this were double wide, then I'd have to really, I think about it, and I think then it's something, but it's actually a foot smaller than the required 75 feet. It's actually 74 feet, and all of the square footage is in the back. So that, and you got to remember, and all the arguments made the planner, which were I really liked all those arguments. For example, on the not so habitable locations of the closet and the garage and the washroom. Also it's the 1970s. A lot of these houses were built back then, and they're maybe not appropriate for today. All good arguments. I just feel that those are arguments for that maybe the law should be changed. But right now, for me, I feel like the law still says to me 3220. So, and this is it's not close. It's significantly over it at 915 square feet. So that's why I'm still, even though I'm, appreciate all the comments, that's why I still have a difficulty with this.
Does anybody else on the board want to make any comments?
I guess the only thing that I definitely would want to see is, as a not that I'm saying yea or nay, but as a condition of approval that the attic space will not be used as habitable space. I know you're saying it won't, but I would want to definitely see that as a condition of approval.
Skolnick, you would agree to that?
Yeah, of
on
course,
behalf of the client.
that's the premise here.
Put that in.
I really appreciate you taking, the ownership and decided to bring it down and correcting your mistakes on this big, and it's not easy, especially when it comes to monitoring nowadays. Things are not what they used to be, so, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Let me go back and ask a question for clarity. If we were to approve this, what are we doing with windows and dormers? And just want to make sure we have that straight on the record.
So it's my understanding that as part of the application, there is a current dormer that's being removed, that there's a dormer not shown on the revised plans, correct, Mr. Skolnick?
Yes, correct. So
Okay, so the offending dormer that is currently there is not shown on these current plans in order to make it compliant so that it doesn't qualify as habitable floor area. And the windows on the side and rear of the home, as may be shown on these plans, but as a condition of approval, would be removed once the work is done to the attic area. There will only be windows on the front.
yes, correct.
Does that answer your question, Chairman? Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. Do you want to say something? You want,
No, I'm good.
I just want to add, first, I do thank you, and for your honesty, I believe. For clarification to the public, it's good he's a nice guy, but we have to follow laws, right? And we're here looking at the laws and looking at what's provided. So we do appreciate you came out in favor of him, and that does count. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I just want everyone to understand that, yes, he's paid a lot, but it was his mistake and he's not following our laws. So that's why he has to pay a lot. And whatever it costs, it has to get done. I do have one more question, I'm sorry. We're at 34, 4, 9/16 to the top. That's the number I see here for the roof.
David, the height?
The height?
Yes, that's the height. Yeah, that's the height, yes.
And it's not going to come back any higher than that.
No, we just.
I cannot.
The dormer on the back
Yeah.
it was like it's higher, so that roof just got down. So anything on the top of the house is not touching, just the size getting down.
And I am confident the building department is going to be vigilant on this matter.
You think? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it with all the conditions that were discussed before, and making sure the height of the house the roof doesn't go even a thread higher. And the dormers, the windows, they all come out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, since the house is already built. If it was not, then it would have been a different story.
Thank you.
But since work is done, but that's the reason we got to move forward and to help him out and the family over there, so, yeah.
I'll second, and hopefully nothing personal, we don't see you again.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Kinney, yes. Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Ms. Yan?
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman?
No?
How do we go? Motion carries?
Thank you, we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
motion carries.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you, guys. I have the next application, so congratulations. Get out of here. Okay, congratulations.
Okay, next one, let's move forward quickly. Block 401, Lot 53, 8 Hartstone Terrace, application number 2025-35-V, Adam and Jen Brenner. Applicant seeks approval to construct a retaining wall in an in-ground pool in violation of the following section: 17096A, 8F, swimming pool rear yard setback 20 feet required, 17.8 feet proposed, 2.2 feet variance requested. 170-96A, 8F, swimming pool side yard setback 20 feet required, 14.4 feet proposed, that's existing. 5.6 feet variance requested. 170-72C, 5C, retaining wall, 5 feet required, 1 feet proposed, but that is existing, 4 feet variance requested.
Chairman, I'm still Richard Skolnick.
Do you want to be?
It seems like I have inherited a certain genre of applications. I'm representing Adam Brenner. He lives at 8 Hartstone Terrace. It's block 401, lot 53. This is a case in which a pool, some pool decking and a wall were improperly installed about 5 feet off from the approved plans. Those original plans, as we'll go over, were conforming in terms of the location of the retaining wall pool and the spa. Unfortunately, they were not constructed as depicted on the plans. As to the spa, there's a total of 7 square feet. 7 square feet of the spa. A small triangular area is located in the rear yard setback adjacent to the Riker Hill School. in terms of the requirements. 20 feet is required. At its worst point, 17.8 feet is proposed on the rear yard setback. As to the pool, a total of 73 square feet of the existing pool is located in the required side yard, with the most significant deviation 5.6 feet. And there, 20 feet is required, and its worst spot, 14.4 feet, is proposed, and a portion of a retaining wall, approximately 40 linear feet, is located in the side yard with some varying setbacks. Fortunately, there's extensive landscaping and a significant grade change in the property to the north. Will suggest that there's really very little or no detriment. This is a de minimis type case. It would be very difficult for any neighbor to see the wall, pool, or spot, or even recognize the change or the delta from what's permitted. The denial letter also mentions a fence that's 6 inches from the property line, but we have letters from both neighbors allowing the shared fence. I have for you Michael Roth. He's a civil engineer. He's also a planner, and cognizant of the hour, we'll try to be as concise as possible. I know you have a heavy agenda.
Excellent.
Okay, if we can
Okay.
Have Mr. Roth sworn in, and we'll qualify him.
Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes, Michael Roth, last name spelled R-O-T-H, of Roth Engineering LLC. I'm the owner of Roth Engineering. I have designed and managed several projects throughout the state, just like the one I'll be presenting tonight. I graduated with a bachelor's degree of science in civil engineering from NJIT. Both my licenses are in good standing, my PE and PP license. I've appeared before several land use boards, over 50 different land use boards throughout the state. However, this is my first appearance before this board. I look forward to presenting this project tonight.
And you are testifying as an architect and engineer and a planner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we've had so many architects today. Does anyone on the board have any questions or objecting regarding this witness?
Chairman, I'm a little disappointed. Mr. Roth does have a tie on.
Yes.
You took my words. I was about to say that.
Threw me totally
I was about
off.
to say
That's the
that.
telltale sign he can't be an architect. the tie.
He's going dual, so that's why.
Okay,
And,
I confused you a little bit, but we'll
It's getting
try
late.
to get it. Okay, Mike, can you, this is the drawing that's in the plan set, so we're not going to remark it?
Sure,
Okay, can you just go over what we have on the left in terms of spa, pool, retaining wall?
Yes, yes, so this plan is, we're looking at sheet 1 of the lot grading and variance plan. We have 2 views here. The left view was the previously proposed conditions that was approved by the town, and then the right view is the as-built conditions, what was constructed. I'm going to zoom into the right view, which is the constructed conditions.
And Mike, we spent a good bit of time sort of hashing out how we were going to give a visual depiction of what occurred here.
Right, so
just start with the spa.
Sure. So to jump into the variances, we're requesting variance relief for improvements constructed in the backyard. The existing spa is located 14.4 feet from the west side property line and 19.8 feet from the north rear property line, where a minimum of 20 feet is the required setback. The existing spa is located 17.8 feet from the north rear property line, where a minimum of 20 feet is required. The pool setback line, the pool and spa setback line for that matter, is shown by the blue dashed line, and the areas that do not comply are shown by the blue hatched boundaries. So we have a minor, you can see my cursor here, a minor 7 square feet of spa
And
that doesn't comply.
Behind that is that Riker Hill School.
Correct, to the north here is Riker Hill School, yep. And then for the pool, a minor 73 square feet. Next, we have relief required for the retaining wall. So the existing retaining wall was actually built 1 foot off the property line, where a minimum of 5 feet is required. The portion of wall that's off the property is proposed to be taken off, and the wall will be reconstructed, so that portion will be actually on the property line.
So there's a couple of inches that's on the neighbor's property. The proposal is just to remove that. so that there's no, that's a real property rights issue, but the proposal is to remove that encroachment.
That's correct, yeah, and that part there is where my cursor is shown on that very northern corner of the property. We have that wall setback line shown in red is the dash line, and there's some area that's hatched in red where we don't comply. Again, it's a pretty minor 80 square feet of wall and patio that do not comply with the setback. I also like to note that the property contains an existing stormwater dry well. We have one on the right side of the property labeled as dry well A. That's already there, that's constructed. And to mitigate for the additional impervious, what we've done is, I'm gonna flip to now sheet 2 of this plan. We're proposing another dry well, which is labeled as dry well B. Bear with me one sec. That's on the left side of the property line, and that's to mitigate the increase in coverage. And those dry well systems are actually designed for the 25-year storm event.
So you've been back and forth with the township's engineering department, yet there's approval for the stormwater here?
That is correct.
And that's some of the benefit that goes along with this package here, to provide some benefits to the public in terms of stormwater management in the broad sense?
Absolutely, yes. So now I'm going to get into my planning testimony for the requested variances. This plan that I have on the screen now was not submitted, so we'll refer to it as A1.
Okay, what title you want to give it?
We're going to call it aerial map,
Okay.
dated June 2nd, 2025. What you see here is an aerial map in the background. The subject property is outlined in red. I'm going to review this in conjunction with another exhibit, so we're going to mark this as A2. This is the site photographs. They were taken on October 25th, 2024 by my office. This is a 5-page photograph set, so I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit here. So in summary, we're requesting 3 variances, which are the pool/spa rear yard setback, the pool side yard setback, and the retaining wall side and rear yard setback. These variances have very minimal impact on the adjacent properties, and the C2 criteria can be applied to our request for variance relief. Starting with the negative criteria, the requested variances result in very minimal detriment to the public good, as there are almost no impacts to the adjacent properties. So we're going to start by looking at the aerial map. I'm going to kind of go through the 3 adjacent properties in a clockwise position, starting on the left, and then to the upper part of the plan, and then to the right. So this property here on the left is 10 Hartstone Terrace. The existing backyard is much lower. The subject property is much lower than that neighboring property. There's also an existing landscape buffer. So if I'll zoom in on this plan here, you could see that dense landscape buffer, which coincides with this photograph here. Again, it's the same view we're looking northwest along that common property line. You could see the landscape buffer. That's page 1.
So the applicant's willing to plant more trees to mitigate further, but there's really no benefit to be had. Would you say that? We can plant it towards the front of the house or something like that?
Yeah, I would say in terms of the backyard, and I'll continue to just flip through these images, it's extremely buffered, and there's really no visual impact. I'm on page 2. You can see the pool is lower in elevation compared to the neighbor. You have that dense buffering. I'm on page 3 now. This is kind of looking straight on to the neighbor, to the left neighbor on the left side, that dense buffer there. Let's flip back to the aerial map. The property to the north is the Riker Hill School. There's a very dense wooded area here. It extends approximately 300 feet. The closest feature is a ball field, and it's actually off the view of the plan, so there's really no impact to that property. The property owner has their own landscaping here, and then beyond that, there's the natural wooded buffer. I'll flip to sheet 4, where you could see the existing landscaping, and then beyond it is that dense wooded buffer. And lastly, the right property, there's no impact there. The pool, all the features comply with the setback to that property line, but just to hit on that again, there's a dense landscape buffer, and you could see it here in the photograph as well, where they align together, a dense wooded area that provides a buffer to the subject property. So based on these images, the backyard is completely screened with virtually no detriment to the adjacent properties. Next, for the positive criteria, in viewing the development proposal as a whole, we believe it encourages purposes A and I of the municipal land use law. As noted previously and mentioned by Mr. Skolnick, we are adding another stormwater dry well to provide an added benefit to the public good with respect to stormwater management. And also, I believe these the proposed improvements are in character with the neighborhood. As you can see from this aerial map, almost all the adjacent lots have, a very nice pool, patio, backyard area, which is what was constructed by this homeowner. Therefore, it is my opinion that the variances can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, and that it will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the master plan and zoning ordinance.
And Mike, we have those topographic features, while not a C1 criteria, the topographic features that are existing serve as additional detriments in a way, right? It minimizes the topographic change in the existing tree line. It serves to create virtually a no detriment case. Is that fair?
Correct,
assessment?
yes, I would agree with that, absolutely.
And we talked about the applicant's willingness to add some trees, perhaps to create some public benefit more towards the front of the house, if the board thinks appropriate.
Only if the board thinks, as you see by those images, the backyard is almost completely screened and buffered with minimal impact, but obviously if the board does.
Would you call this a no detriment case?
No detriment, yes.
Okay, so when you have that, the benefits to the public are obviously less, the need for the benefits are lessened because it's a balancing.
Correct, yes.
Chairman, that's sort of the basics here. We could get deeper into it, but we appreciate the hour.
Yep. No, I appreciate the testimony.
Again, an unfortunate situation where something was not constructed as originally planned. We think the detriments are minor, basically with no harm to the neighbors here in this circumstance. I don't think a neighbor could tell the difference between something that would have conformed versus what's proposed. Certainly on the 7 square feet on the spa, 70 square feet on the pool. It probably gets used 3 months a year. Nobody's gonna know or have any impact. Certainly that neighbor to the left with a grade change, with a thick hedgerow of trees. And we do have some benefits here in terms of some added stormwater. We can certainly add some trees as additional trees and try to work that as a condition of approval if the board thinks appropriate.
Thank you. Well, I'll ask the first question. I guess, I don't know if it would be from you, Mr. Skolnick, or you, sir, or how did we get here? I mean, we had a pool, and it was the same as, the previous application. We had plans that were approved, and if I look at the total paver area, including the pool, approximately 2,013 square feet were approved, 2808 was put in. We had a wall that was maybe, I'm scaling with my fingers, 30, 40 feet long, and we have one that's maybe 80 feet long. This is, I'm just looking at this like, here's a plan, and then we're gonna do what we want. And now we're in this situation like, I'm gonna try to make you move a pool? It puts us in a terrible, terrible situation. I don't know if the homeowner's here or not, but this is like, let's do the work and then we'll get through it later. That's kind of my thoughts and opinions, but I'd like to hear from the rest of the board.
I concur with the chairman here. It's after the fact. Say, okay, let's build it and then go. We'll see whatever happens.
Yeah, Chairman, my client's here to address that.
Sure, come on up. The more the merrier.
Hello, Adam Brenner.
Okay, state your name, please, sir.
Adam Brenner, 8 Hearthstone Terrace.
All right, do you swear friend to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you can be comfortable, you don't have to stand.
Let me preface these comments by saying I was completely ignorant about this process until a couple of months ago, and I learned a lot more about it than I ever wanted to. But I apologize for, the headache this has created for both you and for me. I put my trust and faith in, professionals to do what was approved on the plans. I work in the city regularly. I didn't keep my eye on the ball, and things didn't go according to plan. And now we're in a situation where I have a non-conforming backyard. I apologize for the headache. I think we articulated pretty clearly that it doesn't cause a hardship to any of my neighbors. I've spoken with them at length. They're totally fine with what was constructed. I think I've done a lot of nice work to the backyard, and I've done a lot of work to the front of the house. I think that's been additive to the neighborhood, and I'm certainly not running away from these issues. We're here to make it right. So I'm open to any suggestions you may have.
Thank you, appreciate that. Does anybody else on the board have any questions for anybody? Go ahead.
For the architect planner. I understand I believe, like, why the pool, the 20-foot setback for pools, usually for enjoyment, you don't want other people encroaching on your property with sound and light. Retaining walls, can you educate, I'll say me, but maybe other board members don't know, can you educate me why a town like Livingston, and I presume other towns, have chosen 5 feet as the standard, as the required setback?
Well, that's.
I'm asking,
You wouldn't be able.
well, let me tell the statement, because I think maybe it's relevant. Let me make the statement first, the answer. I believe, cut me off if I'm wrong, because I believe that the 5 feet is because ultimately retaining walls fail, I understand, 20 to 30 years, and then whether it's higher or lower, either if you're higher, that land from the neighbor is gonna come crashing down onto the property, or vice versa, and then you've done damage to the neighbor. And it's my guess, okay, that I figured you as a this is why I thought you as a planner expert would know better than me how it works with retaining walls, to take a more educated guess as to why, because you're asking us to ignore and make it 1 foot to this neighbor. And I appreciate that the neighbor, which is a lot, that's what you saw before, how other neighbors do influence us, that the other neighbor doesn't care. I have to also just think about a future neighbor and what happens 20 years when the retaining wall fails. So, and I could be totally off. You might tell me a foot's fine, but I want to understand what goes into this whole 5-foot requirement.
Well, I think maybe when we reverse the premise of that, it's not so much why the town set the 5 foot, but I think from an engineering standpoint, I think that's really the question Mr. Weissman's asking. From an engineering standpoint, what can be said to clarify to the board that the distance sought here is safe? Is it a safe factor going into the future?
Sure. So the subject property sits lower than the neighbor to the left. So if there were to be a failure, the failure would occur on the subject property. If it was the reverse scenario, then perhaps there would be definitely the need to have some sort of further setback. But we sit lower in grade compared to the neighbors. So any failure that would occur would happen towards the subject property owner.
Okay. But I'm not an engineer, but like mudslides in California, et cetera, usually a big chunk of the higher land comes off. The higher land goes into the lower land, but but the higher land, that land is still now missing a chunk of its property. So if that property owner had a shed on it or something like that, that shed would fall down, right? Because I just want to understand, so I have the.
It's our risk on that theory, which is probably plausible for a reason why it may have gotten into the code. I'll suggest it got into the code because it was in somebody else's code that was copied by the planner, and it said.
But originally there was some good reason.
I've been doing this a long time, and these things are cut and pasted over 30 years. But Mike, can you sort of address that issue? If there was a grade problem, and what we have over there.
Yeah. So that grade issue
would actually be. Who would have the risk?
Yeah, the risk would be on the subject property owner, because that, again, we sit lower than the neighbor, so any sort of, storm event, let's say, where there's water coming down, the wall fails for some reason, that damage would occur on the neighbor's property. So that's why I feel it's acceptable to have the setback that we're offering, that we're proposing.
For clarification, how high is the wall? That might help.
The wall's about 2.5 feet in height, approximately.
I don't know. It looked higher, but from a legal standpoint, Mr. Skolnick, I guess. So you're saying if when it fails, I'll say, I happen to have retaining walls on my property, so I'm a little nervous about when that happens. I understand it does happen. So this landowner would be responsible for any damages to the neighbor's property caused by that.
Yeah, I think what Mike is saying is, if there was a problem that.
No, I'm just worried if
Adam
there.
is too close. He's saying, look, I'm gonna be a little closer than the 5 feet, so he's sort of assuming increased risk. But you're concerned about the neighbor's property.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the neighbor, yeah.
He's up top. I understand.
Yeah, I
He's
think-
up higher, so right? So he's up higher. Neighbor to the left, right, Mike? Where the
Is higher in
basketball
elevation
court
than,
is.
correct, yeah.
And there is a good,
2.5 foot fence here.
there is a good buffer there.
If you had a 1 on 2,
The property
you'd
line
only
is
not go
irregular.
4 feet in, right? If it's like a 30-degree slope, you'd be something like 4 feet, 4.5 feet maybe. So it's not a large California mudslide.
Right.
No, I
Yeah.
know,
So I'm just upset, right.
Retaining wall is maximum 4 feet off, so I figured, I think right now our law was 4 feet. Retaining wall was 5 foot setback. Yeah, I'm not an engineer, I don't know these things. I'm just looking at what I see as requirements and want to understand.
Mike, is there anything to be done there in terms of, behind the wall in the area? Is there any sort of engineering,
There's a good buffer there.
Yeah, I would say for this height of wall, it's minor. Anything over 4 would require a structural PE to design it. We don't hit that threshold. It's a pretty small modular block wall. And there's an existing buffer to the left of it between the wall and the property line. The grade change, where if there's any failure, would be the subject property owner's responsibility. I feel there's minimal impact.
And the linear feet was not that much, right? It's about 40 linear feet. That's in there. Can you go back to that drawing on your?
Yeah.
So we're not, it's not nothing, but it's not all that long. Maybe the color coded. I'll slide over, there we go. So it does taper out. Part of it's conforming.
Correct. Yeah,
Right?
the majority of it is conforming. There's about a 30-foot leg on the side property line that's non-conforming, and then about a 10-foot leg on the north property line that's non-conforming.
The distance is relatively minimal. You understand the concern, but it's not the whole length of the wall. It's only where that red hatching is, that red triangle, if I've got it right. Correct. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So because you said you're gonna do some repairs, at least to get it off the property line. How far, are you going right on the property line? As long as you're fixing it, at least, are you still gonna go right up to the property line?
That's the current proposal on the plan, to be remove the encroachment that's 1 foot off the property and put the limit of the wall on the property line.
On the property line.
It's like a pillar, actually. That's
Yeah, it's like almost like a corner post.
Yeah, it's like it's a post.
Do you have a question?
I have a question, yes. So, the proposed side yard setback of 14.4, and it says proposed, also says parentheses existing. Does that mean there was a variance granted already for this?
It's
No.
pre-existing.
Existing.
It's there. This pool is built.
It's constructed.
It was, we're conceding it was built in the wrong place by a few feet, by about 5 feet.
Okay.
Meaning
That's
he's identifying that there's a permanent structure at that location. Right.
I see, okay.
Any other questions on the board for this witness or witnesses? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this, either of these witnesses? Gets harder to say after 10 o'clock. Does anybody in the public want to make any statements regarding this application? Do you want a closing statement, sir?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay. Does anybody in the board want to make a statement? A motion. You want that too, huh? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I want to make a statement.
Okay.
I just feel that this mistake put us in a very difficult position. It's there, and then what can we do? So that's my, I do not, I'm still thinking, but it's really a tough decision for myself to consider.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask, and again, just from another place, I'm wondering how much, I'm just curious how much work it is, because you're doing work anyway to move that post. Is it a lot more work just to comply for that 40 feet? And you're moving that, is that a big?
You're saying
construction?
have the wall comply with the 5-foot setback? Is
Yeah,
that
the retaining wall. I'm not getting into the pool right now, I'm just focusing on this retaining wall. You're doing construction anyway, so I'm curious, like, if you're doing some construction, why not just move it into compliance? Like, is that a big deal, or is it that that's great livable pool space that you really want it? You know, I'm just
I mean,
trying to make it easier for the board, because they seem.
engineering-wise.
Engineer, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what we're proposing on the plans, I would say is somewhat, minor work in removing that that 1-foot encroachment, to realign, that 30 feet of wall and remove that excess patio is obviously more work, more cost. I would have to, defer to my client on terms of if that's something that the board is requesting for him to make that call.
Mr. Skolnick, has your client considered that?
That would be a major undertaking. I understand it doesn't.
Okay, so he hasn't considered that, so he wouldn't consider that as a condition of approval, correct? I mean, it's almost 10:30, I'm trying to, move this along. So this is not, let's make a deal, so, if he's inclined to move it, his property, it's his money, I'm not telling him what to do. I don't know if he wants to talk to Mr. Skolnick for a second, but, that would remove a variance, not for nothing.
Could we have a moment for a sidebar? 1 minute?
Sure.
You
take
got a
two.
minute. You just turn off your mic. Mr. Skolnick, just turn off the mic. Fantastic.
Okay, brought it in 50 seconds. Don't say my witnesses aren't lengthy. Now we have a bathroom break. They're entitled to a bathroom break.
We lost a member. Skolnick. All right, we're gonna.
Okay, everyone's back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
All right, Mrs. Skolnick, I think you were
My
gonna,
client's gonna address it directly, and maybe we have another way to get it.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, respectfully, prepared to move the post that where the encroachment is, that's a pretty easy fix. To move that retaining wall is a massive undertaking. A lot of work went into putting that together, a lot of finishing work. I spent a lot of money, and candidly, I don't think it causes any undue hardship to my neighbor or anybody else. There's a clear buffer there. If you can see from the elevation change, I don't think the pictures really do it justice. It's.
All right, well, you don't have to justify why you're not gonna do it. I just wanna know if you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'd
so.
like the board, if you're inclined, if there's a concern about that one, to vote separately. What we could propose is really to
Let's
ask.
not make this any more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, this is, let's bring this down to the basics. This is already built, and he needs approval for these 3 variances for what's already built. I think it's inappropriate to bifurcate something when it's already built. They're gonna have to vote on it for what it is. So he's not gonna move the retaining wall, which is fine. That was brought up, so why don't we move on?
Mr. Wenzel, can I finish?
I'm really trying to move this along.
I appreciate that, but, look, it's a difficult situation, but the spa and the pool,
You don't have to, Mr. Skolnick, you don't have to explain why your client, it doesn't want to do the condition of approval. I mean, to make it a condition of approval. I mean, it's very basic. He doesn't want to do it, that's fine. He's not being difficult. He's saying it's gonna be a big cost. It's already there. He's gonna have to, it's all part of his overall backyard, and it's gonna affect him to move it in. It's understandable.
we'd like to, re-offer, enhanced landscaping, because that's.
I don't really know, I'm gonna tell you the truth, Mrs. Skolnick, I have no idea how a few trees in the front has anything to do with the backyard. I'm losing on that, that's just me, but
The case law on C2 says you have to look at the entire project as a whole in evaluating the positive criteria on a C2. So if we can, even if it's not right there mitigating, because there's no reason to mitigate, if we could add some landscaping and get some sort of return to the community, he appreciates something went wrong.
So a few trees in the front yard outweighs the retaining wall and patio.
And the drainage, and some added drainage here that goes along with this.
Okay.
And the settlement, and what we're arguing is that the detriment is very small here. C2 is a balancing test, so if the detriments are really small, because nobody will know the difference, whether we comply or we don't comply. So the detriment here is very minor. I'll call it de minimis, that's for the board to decide. So if we have a balancing test, the positives don't have to be all that high when the detriments are really low. And that's the crux of our planning and engineering argument. That this is a sort of a unique case because you got the school in the back, it's 73 square feet on the pool, and that wall, because of the topography, that neighbor is not here tonight. They've signed a statement. I could give it to the board saying they can share the fence, but they're not gonna get any benefit. It's our position. We'd rather put the benefit into enhanced landscaping and get something for the community. That's our argument. But I really am concerned if we don't bifurcate. I think the board can certainly approve the whole thing, but I don't want to face a problem with having to tear out part of the pool and the spa. That's a little different, a different issue. So we understand Mr. Wiseman's concern, absolutely, but it's a big expense. We're not seeing much of a benefit from our perspective. We understand greater compliance and eliminating a variance is always good. But in this circumstance, we're arguing for something different. Let's put some money into some extra landscaping where there can be a real benefit to the public, because we're getting that wall from 1 feet to 5 feet. We don't see much added benefit, other than technically removing the variance.
Does anybody else want to make any comments or statements? I mean, I think from my point of view, I'm still trying to get my head around some of this stuff. I agree that there's no detriment to everybody else around it. It's just the timing of the way it worked out that makes it extremely difficult, where there were no variances and now there's 3. And I think some of them are easier to go away than others.
Well, the other thing I'd point out too is, you bring up the enhanced, the dry well, whatever else, but all that's also because you far exceeded building the patio way bigger than you were supposed to. So, I mean, I understand it's an expense, but it's your own fault's expense. I don't know. This is a rough one.
You're getting pissed off, aren't you?
Well,
Yeah.
Talk about it all night. We want to go back. Like, when people go in front of the judge, let the judge make a decision.
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'm probably going to be back in front of the board, I think on August 17th. We can go back and take another hard look and see what we can do here to try to do. We want to try to get to a solution.
Okay,
It's not like it's a house that's unbuilt, the pool is there.
right, understood.
It's going to be some expense.
let me just
I don't think we need to bring our engineer back.
August 17th, correct? No? 26.
August 20, is that the night tentatively for the other? I'm going to be back.
Yeah,
You'll be back on the 26th?
I don't know that we're going to be able to do. We can get some estimates and try to see if we can move in the direction that the board has expressed.
I
All right,
think
so
we
we'll-
appreciate that.
All right, so this matter will be adjourned to August 26th. No new notice will be required. Appreciate
Appreciate
Mr.
everybody.
Brenner and Skolnick and Mr. Roth as well.
You remembered all the names.
I did. I
So
wrote them
Chairman-
down.
Chairman, we're not,
Thank you.
can we open it up to the public? Because I don't think we're going to bring Mr. Roth back.
That's fine.
Okay, well, if we don't need to. Okay, so we have the date certain that it's carried?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Okay.
yeah, no
Okay.
renotice or anything.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
thank you.
We'll
Thank you.
take a look on that issue.
Appreciate it.
See if we can make a movement
Thank
in
you.
that direction.
Okay, Block 4204, Lot 1, 1 Spalding Drive, application number 2025-37-V, Om Dodeja. Applicant seeks approval for the second floor addition in violation of the following section: 17099C2, front yard setback 40 feet required, 35.5 feet proposed, 4.5 feet variance requested. 170-87L, 1D, corner lot setback, 35 feet required, 2508 proposed, 9.92 variance requested. 17099C3, side yard setback, 10 feet required, 6.0 feet proposed, that's existing, 3.95 variance requested. 17099C4, rear yard setback, 35 feet required, 33.61 feet proposed, which is existing, 1.39 variance requested.
Okay, so we have the, are you Mr. Dojia?
Nagaraja.
Okay.
Nagaraja.
That's not the name I have down here. Are you the property owner?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and your name again is?
Nagaraja. Last name is Nagaraja. Lokanath Nagaraja. Oh, sorry, the applicant is our contractor.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. Okay, all right. So you're the homeowner. Okay, very good, sir. And what's do we have his name yet? Can we get your name one more time? Oh, I got it. Property owner L-A?
Lokanath. Lokanath.
N-A-A-T-H?
Yeah.
Okay. Najarata.
Nagaraja.
You say it better than I do.
He's had more practice.
His name is on the application. Okay. I'm sorry, sir.
No
And
worries.
ma'am, are you?
I am the architect.
Okay.
And my name is Pirkko Patanayak, Pirkko Patanayak, Pattanayag.
Okay, very good. Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay. And ma'am, you're a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I am. I was educated in West Berlin, Germany, and I'm licensed in New Jersey since 1999.
Okay.
And your licenses are all in good standing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, have you appeared before other boards before?
Not here in Livingston, but in many other boards.
Right.
My office is in South Amboy, New Jersey.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture.
Go ahead, ma'am.
All yours.
Okay, yeah, so this is the a one-story building. The family has been living since 7 years, and it consists of three-bedroom ranch house. And the problem is that the existing property is not non-conforming, and as was stated before, there is minor problems with existing lot size, which is about 3% smaller than it should be. It is about 9,000 square feet, where it should be 9,375 square feet. And the lot size is smaller. Instead of 75 times 125 feet, it is 65 times 89 feet. So now it is a corner lot in corner of Spire Drive and Spalding Drive, and the Spire Drive is considered side yard, but it has to be minimum 35 feet, and we have 33 feet, 61 feet. So we are asking for variance for just for 1 feet 39, and the front yard setback is also supposed to be 40 feet, but we have only 35 feet, 35 and a half feet, so that we are asking for 4.5 feet. So altogether, it is all existing non-conforming condition, and we are taking one storage room, which is on Spire Drive. We remove that, but other than that, almost the second floor will be built exactly like the first floor, except the garage stays like it is. So we are asking for this variance. And from interior of the house, it now has 3 small bedrooms downstairs, and which will be moved, will be converted in a one bigger bedroom downstairs, and 2 bedrooms upstairs. So altogether, the square foot size will be okay. We are adding about 1,000 square feet upstairs, and that's all.
Okay, so essentially you're just building straight up, right?
Yes.
So any of the variances are all existing non-conforming?
Yes.
You're not making them any worse or any better?
Yeah, nowhere is worse, except just in the front, there is now open, and the part of the front has an open porch,
and it is a little bit very accurate entrance, because the entrance is on the side, so when you come to the house, you don't see the entrance, so we are squaring it off, which is now just covered space. That will be occupied space, and then 2-story
Okay.
high.
So except for that minor thing, nothing else is
Yeah.
changing. Okay. And you're not any higher than you need to be, you're within the habitable floor area and the habitable floor area ratio. So all those numbers are good.
Yeah, that's, the floor area ratio is about 27%, where 30% is allowed.
Perfect, okay. Does anybody on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Would anybody in the public like to make a statement regarding this application? Would anybody in the board like to make a statement regarding this application?
I'd like to make a motion to approve, but no comments.
Okay.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
And I'll third it. It's not a thing, but I would just mention it's undersized lot, it's a corner-sized lot. Seems pretty easy, so.
Yep.
We have a second already.
Yeah.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Kenya, yes. Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Weissman?
Yes.
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations.
Short and sweet, done. Next.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Block
Good luck.
2102, Lot 3, 15 Shrewsbury Drive, application number 2025-34-V, Pedro Vasquez. Applicant seeks approval for the swimming pool in violation of the following section: 17096A, 8F, swimming pool, rear yard setback, 20 feet allowed, 8.2 feet proposed, 11.8 variance requested. 17096A, 8F, swimming pool, left side yard setback, 20 feet allowed, 17.7 feet proposed, 2.3 feet variance requested. 17096A, 8A, swimming pool coverage, 11% allowed, 12.3% proposed, 2.3 variance requested.
Okay, and ma'am, are you the homeowner?
Yes, my name is Laura Vasquez, and I live in 15 Shrewsbury Drive.
Okay. And you have architect to testify?
Correct.
Okay. I'm the engineer. And the engineer. I could tell from the ruler. Yeah.
No tie.
See, and that's what I like to see, not those newfangled, electrical stuff. Good old-fashioned slide rules.
Slide rules,
Triangle. Well, that's why I failed engineering school.
Good
All right.
evening.
So why don't we swear in the architect?
No, I'm the attorney.
Oh, the
He's
attorney. Oh,
engineer.
all right.
But I had to do the computer.
All right. Well, you're much smarter than I am. All right, counsel, go ahead.
Okay,
The objector attorney is in the bathroom, just so you know.
okay.
Wait.
No, it's gonna be real quick.
It's not a major thing. My name is Priscilla Triolo. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Bidiger, Elias, Triolo, and Deal. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. The plans that were submitted with the application were prepared by Omlin and Osterkorn, Inc. We have a substitute engineer this evening who is Charles Osterkorn, but not the Osterkorn that signed the plan. Those are that's his daughter. But he's here, and I just need a minute to put his credentials on the record and establish his familiarity
Okay, so-
with the plans his daughter prepared.
All right. Well, I'm sure your daughter did a great job. Your daughter's appeared before me many times. Do you swear for please? Do you swear for to tell? Boom, bomb. Do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Charles Osterkorn, Osterkorn, Jr. I'm an engineer, a licensed surveyor, and a planner. I graduated from NJIT, went back to school at NJIT to get my land surveyor's license. Then I went to Brazil, I was in the Peace Corps, it was the best time of my life. And I got good memories about
Okay.
Livingston from
Do
when
you
I was a
have,
child.
is your engineering license in good
Yes.
standing? Is your planner's license in good standing?
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll
Did
be testifying as both?
He is testifying as both.
Okay, just real quick, does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There be no objection, the witness is accepted as an expert in engineering and planning. All yours.
Okay. Have you reviewed the plans prepared by Ellen and Osterkorn?
Yes, I have.
Are those the plans that are on the screen behind you?
Yes, I have.
Can you please go through, for the benefit of the board, the 3 variances that are requested with this application?
Yes, we were requesting a variance for the pool water, the surface. The
Mr.
existing-
Osborne, can you get closer to the mic, please, sir?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, we're requesting a variance for the surface of the pool area. It's it's supposed to be 566 square feet. It is based on the backyard. And this backyard is triangular shape, so it really necks down the back of the property. And we have a side yard and a rear yard setback that we're requiring. It's required to be 20 feet, and we're only 17.7 and 18.2. We're putting in a relatively small pool. It's 16 by 32, and as you can see, we're 17.7 over the neighbor, off the property line, the neighbor to the right, and we're 8.2 off of the rear line. There's a park that exists along the entire left property line. And those are the 3 variances we're requesting.
Mr. Osterkorn, did you visit the area where this property is located?
Yes, I have.
Did you examine the neighborhood where the property is located?
Yes.
Okay. You understand that we are here for an NJSA 40:55D 70C1 variance due to the unique conditions of this particular specific property because of its shallowness and the shape of the property.
Yes, it's basically a triangular piece of property that goes to a corner in the back. Can't see it on this drawing. Can I change this here? I don't know how to do this.
You want to make it small?
Honey, I'm old, I don't know how to do this.
What are you looking for?
I want to show the back of the property. There you go. That's close enough. Yeah, so the frontage on the property is, hold on one second. Yeah, the frontage on the property extends along Shrewsbury Drive the entire length along Lot 4, comes back on an angle and then goes to a corner up in the top corner. So it's a triangular piece of property, and it's, it has a very irregular shape.
When you're at the site, can you tell the board what's located to the left of the property as you're facing it?
To the left of the property it's a parkland. I don't know if it's a county or a town park, but it's all trees.
It's government-owned property. When we did the 200-foot radius list, it just comes up with an unknown address, so we served the municipality with the notice of this hearing. It's government-owned. Does it have a ditch on it and an uneven terrain?
Yeah, there's a very small ditch. It shows larger on the plan, but it's actually about a foot wide. It's sort of a little swale and a drainage ditch that runs through the park.
Okay. So the 2 variances for the side yard and the rear yard, the side yard being to allow 17.7 feet instead of the 20 feet. Did you have an opportunity to speak to the attorney for the objector, who is the property owner immediately to the right?
Yes, I did.
And what was his request, and what would his withdrawal of his objection be if some action were taken?
We would like to increase the offset to 17.7 to 20 feet, so we'd eliminate a variance, but then we have to decrease it on the left side adjacent to the park to about 6 feet.
So if we move the pool over, there would be 20 feet to the property owner who is in attendance with his attorney, but that would then reduce the variance requested on the other side from 8.5 feet to about 5 feet. But that's the side of the property that is adjacent to the wooded area that'll never be developed because it supports a drainage ditch of some sort.
That's
And
correct.
if the board would vote in approval of this application, the applicant would submit revised plans and move and shift everything over to meet the requirements of the neighbor and reestablish that 20-foot setback to the side yard.
Okay.
That's correct.
Mr. Osterkorn, just for the record, if granting this application would granting this application have any detriment on the community?
No.
Is the use of a pool behind a residential home in accordance with the master plan in keeping residential neighborhoods residential?
Yeah, there'll be more recreation and more enjoyment for the family.
Are the variances, in your professional opinion, de minimis when it comes to a piece of property that has this unusual shape?
Yes.
I have no further questions for Mr. Osterkorn, but I do have the property owner here that I would like to have make a statement to the board after you finish your questions of Mr. Osterkorn.
Okay, thank you. I was going to ask the same thing. But does anyone have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public like to make a statement? I think that's it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
do you want to hear from the, homeowner first
Oh, the
before
attorney.
there's comment?
My name is Mikola Yaremko, 41-year resident of Livingston, 29 Orchard Lane.
Okay, do you swear affirm to tell the truth before the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
So we're at 29 Orchard Lane, which is right behind this property, well, off to the side. And our concern is not so much the pool itself, but it's light that may be required. I'm not sure what the zoning laws are for lighting around pools. But we're just concerned about lighting spillover that may go into our bedroom, because we're at line of sight with their house. So, and we saw the house being built, and they have lights in the back, and the lights go right into our bedroom, and it's somewhat of a nuisance. That's our only concern.
Okay.
The lighting.
Okay, so that's more of a question than a comment.
But that's okay.
Which is good.
The
So
lighting
what's-
would be no different than residential lights, and we can make sure that any lighting that's put around the pool has a down shield and faces the pool and doesn't have spread to the neighbors, but it would be nothing more than residential lights that you would have for your 7-year-old to go swimming.
Right, so would you agree as a condition of approval that any lighting in the pool area be downward facing residential lighting to be directed in such a manner to reduce and to whatever effect to eliminate spillage onto the rear yard? Kinda, not really rear yard neighbor property. Would that be correct? That was a really long condition of approval, but I think council was picking up on where I was going with that.
Absolutely. There's no intention to create a community pool in their backyard. It's only for their personal use, and it would be simple residential lighting. And if there is any issue that these neighbors have, please feel free to come to the Vasquez house. They're very nice people, and they'll figure out what they have to do to accommodate you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. So if you're moving,
We have.
This gentleman wants to speak.
All right, we'll come back to the question then.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
you the attorney for the objectors?
I'm afraid so.
Okay, well, then, well, I can tell
I'm
from
wearing
the
a tie.
tie.
I'm wearing a tie.
The tie gave you away. But since you're counsel, I'm not going to swear you in other than to ask you to put your name and business address on the record.
Certainly. My name is Jerry Grad. My office is in Woodbridge, 223 Main Street in Woodbridge, and I represent the Hahn family who lives, it's the adjacent property to the right of the subject property. Ms. Triola's comment earlier is absolutely correct. We had a discussion earlier this evening where essentially they're going to withdraw their application for the side yard, which is the side yard variance, which is my client's only concern. We have no comment about or objection to their other two applications, which is for the percentage of the property usage and the rear yard application. So I just wanted to confirm that was our discussion, and we concur with that, obviously. I did speak to the engineer, I didn't speak to Ms. Vasquez, I did speak to counsel. And I apologize, my client was here for the good part of the evening, but he's leaving the country on vacation. He's probably on his way to the airport as we speak. So he had to leave early.
Okay. This is how you get there. Okay, I think you had a question?
Yeah, simple question. So since your neighbor's requesting to move it to the left, why not, and if you're moving it more towards the left, then the setbacks over there get, you're encroaching on that other side. So why not make us pool a little smaller? Is there a way to do that?
Excuse me, it's a pretty small, it's only 16 by 32, and that's the pool I have in my house, and it's small. It's too small. 20 by 40 is a standard.
I figure I asked question.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's tough, but I think it's a small enough pool, in my opinion.
Does anybody else in the public want to make any statements? I'll just make a quick statement here. Oh, do you want to close or anything?
Laura Vasquez wants to make a statement to the board.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Vasquez, do you swear to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Ms. Vasquez.
First of all, thank you so much for your time and good evening. Like I mentioned, I'm Mrs. Vasquez, and my husband and I just moved here 9 months ago to Livingston, so we're very excited to be part of this community. So far, we really enjoyed it. We have 2 girls, 5 and 7. They're in the school, and like we said, we want to build a pool so we can create some memories with the girls, and we feel like this is a really great opportunity for us to spend time with them at home as well as with any friends and family. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Okay, do you want to do any closing or?
Just in closing, I would like the board to consider the application amended with the pool shifting 20 feet off the right side yard to be compliant and withdraw that variance, and to alter the variance requested on the other side and reduce that to 5 feet or 4.9, I think, if that's the right math, and that we would represent to the board that we would accommodate the lighting that's requested by the neighbor and keep the lighting down, and respectfully request that the board allow them to build the pool in their backyard for their family and their children.
Thank you. I'd just like to say I appreciate you working with your neighbor and moving it over. That's appreciated when neighbors get along. It does help the situation. Does anybody else want to make any statements?
I want to add on to one thing. I appreciate that you do have a irregular lot that has a triangle, so that makes your condition a little bit different. So, and like the chairman said, I appreciate that you work with your neighbor, and yeah, this is a very nice design in my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the condition that the applicant's counsel said. Yeah.
I'll second it.
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Kenya, yes. Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Mr. Beard?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, motion carries.
Okay. Pool party in
Okay.
August.
Thank you, and I'd note for the board that we are not asking for forgiveness, we are asking for permission.
Thank you, yes, that is appreciated. Trust me.
Priscilla, you kept that to the end. Good job.
Okay, Block 2404, Lot 44, 42 Westmount Drive, application number 2025-57-V. Justin Silver, applicant, seeks approval to finish attic space in violation of the following section: 17087 BB1, habitable floor area, 6,200 square feet allowed, 6,981 square feet proposed, 781 square feet variance requested, 17087 CC1, habitable floor area, ratio 15% allowed, 23.1 proposed, 8.1 variance requested.
Okay, it's been a while since I've said this. So we're back on the Silvers, okay? I know Mr. Dubinet's here. Mr. Dubinet, brevity is the soul of wit. This is a habitable floor area ratio request. It's a D request. I don't know if you were here earlier with my admonition or my information that there's only 5 members of the board here. If you wish to go forward, you can. That's your call, but you need all 5 to vote in your favor. If you want to adjourn it and wait to the next date when we will likely have all fully seated board, then you're appearing before 7 members, and you don't need all 5. You still need 5, but you need 5 of 7 instead of 5 of 5. With that in mind, do you wish to continue to proceed tonight?
I feel confident that certainly I would love a unanimous decision, either way, 5 or 7. So I would like to proceed this evening.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
So we have Mr. Are we go?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know. All right, Mr. Dubinet, let's get you sworn in.
Thank you.
Do you swear affirm and tell the truth tonight to the board?
I do.
To everybody? Okay. Mr. Dubinet's appeared before us many times as an architect. Mr. Dubinet, you checked your email tonight?
Yes, I did.
And no emails from the state of New Jersey telling you the license isn't good?
Not yet, no.
And you're going to be testifying as an architect tonight?
I will.
Okay.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture.
Thank you so much. And thank you, board, for, I always appreciate the time you put in, but tonight is extra special, so thank you. And as always, I will be short and to the point. This is a very, very, very interesting case for me intellectually, and I think for the board, because it touches on the hot topic of habitable floor area and ratio, because, well, A, the house is existing over on both, but my client needs some additional space, and the basement's small for this size house, and I'd like to show you, I have a floor plan of the basement. So there's an attic that exists that we would like to use, and for us to occupy the attic, we will reconfigure the second floor a little bit to be able to get a staircase up there. Now, when we get up to the attic, there's no windows, there's no dormers, and so there'll be no physical change to the exterior in any way. So it's in my mind, and that's why I say it's an interesting application, because I just know it's such a hot topic about the FAR and attics, that this is a very mature neighborhood of houses that are of equal scale and size, and there's no windows, so even if they go up there, there's no light that would come on. So it's almost like having the program in the basement. But because this house is limited in its basement size and height, so oddly enough, this requirement that we're seeking is for a golf simulator. And a golf simulator needs about 9 to 10 feet high. Our basement's 8. We explored digging the basement. There's rock. So we couldn't even lower the basement, which we tried. And there's a large crawl space that we've also explored, has rock. So it's obviously a nice to have, not need to have, except for their son is a tournament player, and this is like the dream to have. So I know it's a hot topic, but I'd like to get through some exhibits just to show you that this would not set any precedent and that this application stands on its own merits. And let me do that for us. Really quickly, this is the back of the house. I always have a hard time navigating this laptop, but so I highlighted for us in red the space, 496 square feet that we'd be finishing. We wouldn't finish anything beyond that, plus the headroom falls apart. And on the front of the house, I've highlighted where the space would occupy. So there's no window, there's no light, and so there'll be zero negative impact to the neighbors or the neighborhood, but I think that the Silvers would have a chance for this place, and believe me, we've tried many scenarios for this thing, so I appreciate your time looking at that. And then what I'd like to show you is I did a survey of the neighborhood. Oh, well, before I get past this slide, this shows us the attic that's existing. It's really tall, and it has a flat roof, and you get up there, and there's this beautiful square rectangle that exists. Like I said, there's no windows. This is a Google image of the roof plan, and so you could see, however it was framed, it has a flat roof, which gives us this beautiful rectangle that exists. Then the neighborhood borders West Orange. It's on Westmont. This is the street, and all the homes on that street are very similar in style, massing scale, mature trees, and these are the homes that I surveyed. So if I could navigate this screen. No. Just taking a quick tour. Okay, well, I will not try to zoom in. Upper left, 46 Westmont. To the right, number 44. Then we get to our house, 42. A lot of more mature trees and landscaping. To the right is 42 again. I have to zoom out. Okay. Then we get to number 40, number 38, number 36, 34. And they're all very similar in size, massing, and scale. So I think this neighborhood was developed about 20-some-odd years ago. They've been here about 7. They inherited a nice-sized home with a lot of bedrooms and offices, but obviously nothing conducive for this piece of use that we'd like to use. And then on the lower left is a house that's being built across the street that's brand new, which looks big. It's advertised about 14,000 square feet. So we're sitting in a neighborhood that is, I think, very unique. I think the house and its surroundings are special. And I have, which I've never done before, a quick little video, if it will play. This is driving down Westmont. So all the developed homes are on the right. It's a very mature, tree-lined street. It's very hard to see the homes as we move through it. But they're all very similar in size and scale and massing. And this is my makeshift drone, me driving.
You aren't violating any motor vehicle laws by holding your cell phone while driving, right, Mr. Burnett?
I should have brought some.
I wouldn't turn you in.
So we're about to pass 42, right about here. So I know this is a sensitive topic, and, but I do believe that there's no negative impact to the intent of the zone plan, certainly no negative impact to the neighbors or neighborhood, certainly no trees will come down as a result of this. So that's the short story. So I'd love, if there's any questions or comments, we'll start with questions.
Anybody on the board have any questions for this witness? I think we're thinking, oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Just out of curiosity, do you know what the height is inside the garage space?
I could find out. The garage is probably, yeah, it's probably over 10 feet. Mhm. Which is counting towards FAR, I guess, because it's a 3-car garage.
So in terms of renovation, it's just, you gotta get HVAC up there, I guess, some sort of?
Yeah, there already is multiple units I think we could tap off
Oh,
of.
so you
It's
could
zone,
right, it's a very
take one
little.
of the units and zone damper it.
And a little bit of electric, no plumbing?
No, well, we would like a half bath.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh.
To pee if you're playing.
Okay, I didn't see
But-
that on the, did I see that on the?
Yeah,
I just saw
that's-
the,
It's
But
on
of course, we
3 or 5.
I just noticed, I love the little golfer guy, I got distracted.
Right.
Sorry about that. So that's a new powder room. And the new staircase.
Right.
I mean, as you know, Mr. Dubonnet, we're attic averse of here.
I know, it's, I think what makes this unique and does not set precedents for future and or past cases is that the established 25-year-old home with an established neighborhood with no windows. It's not like we have a dormer that someone created for future. There's no dormer, there's no light, there's, it's actually conducive for a movie theater simulator type of environment. And no one would know any different. And so obviously, we're here for your blessing. And I know I've talked to the Silvers about how sensitive of an issue it is, but when I start to analyze it, there's just zero negative impact other than this is a hot topic. That we want to make sure that people are building, let's say you're building a large house, you're asking for FAR, well, if you keep going up in the attic, then your big house, and maybe you're becoming even bigger, but we're already in a neighborhood that seems like it could support it, and I just don't see any downside.
And how many bedrooms are in the house right now?
We have 5. So as a result of this, we're going to lose a bedroom to be able to get the staircase in. Yeah, and what's interesting too is that Meredith always wanted a larger closet, and I was going to go for FAR to expand the roof line, so this was a brilliant solution. I had an application before, we never got a chance to present. We had an application where we were going to create a dormer to get a staircase so we wouldn't have to modify the plan. So it worked out great. Now we take a bedroom, turn it into an office, get the staircase up for this simulator. So yeah, we reduced a bedroom before there was 6. So yeah, the 4 kids and the master.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Will there be a roof window, like a skylight window?
Nothing, no lights, no.
Okay, no work on the roof, basically.
No work on the
Okay.
roof, no penetrations through the roof because our air conditioning's there, heating, air conditioning, maybe I guess a plumbing vent pipe, but no physical change to the outside. Which is why I think this makes it so unique, and I know it's a hot topic that But it is unique because of the no change, and I do think that I even tried to look at a photograph of the area that it would be affected, and it's so small, like you can't even tell, like I said, like this. Sitting right behind those double gables. Those are not windows, those are decorative.
So the permitted was 6,200 square feet, and you're already existing 6,485, and you still want to increase further to 6,981. That's pretty.
It's pretty big, but I don't want to, but the basement, we tried to dig it, and we hit rock, so we didn't keep going further. Because that 496 could go in the basement and doesn't count. But now I stick it into this cave-like attic, and it does count. So it's unfortunate that, we live on the, we couldn't dig down because we would have not been here.
I guess as I'm looking at this, at a minimum, I don't see a reason for a bathroom up there and plumbing. And that whole extension to that end.
Yeah, that's something we could, Justin? Well, yeah, can we eliminate the half bath? Yeah.
We
The
just
first
get you,
sentence-
let's just.
Oh,
let's
sorry,
get you
Meredith
guys
Silver.
Both sworn in. You swear firm, tell the truth before the zoning board tonight?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am, I'm sorry.
So, of course, if we had to eliminate it to do this, we would. The reason that Danny had put it in the first place is that he had rightfully pointed out to us that if our son's gonna be up there practicing for hours, he might have to use a bathroom, and then he'd be going all the way to another floor to do that. So that was the idea behind it.
And I apologize, I forgot to show you the basement.
That's okay.
For what it's worth. So I highlighted the yellow box is the basement that's about 8 feet tall, and then we have crawl space, and crawl space, and crawl space, and then, of course, the garage slab. And so we tried to excavate to the left here, and we hit rock, and then we have the existing basement, we tried to dig down, and we hit rock. So it's like, we didn't want to blast. So then we're like, okay, well, we got that juicy little cave up in the attic. So I think we could approve it and not set a precedent and not feel like, well, we've given them big and now they want bigger.
No, it kind of is big and is getting bigger.
Okay.
So
I think
maybe a different approach might help there. I understand what you said, ma'am. I'm not comfortable with plumbing going up in the attic. It just, I don't think that whole backside is needed. I mean, it's a very large house that's already large, and now we're asking for more, and we don't, people who have 3,000 square feet, we're locking them out of the attics. And, this is maybe a unique situation, but, I don't know how my fellow board members feel. I'd like to hear some stuff back on any of this.
One more question.
Go for
or
it.
like a confirmation. So you mentioned that you're gonna lose a bedroom, so does it mean right now it's a 6-bedroom house?
Yes.
Now we're gonna lose one just to become a 5-bedroom house in order to
Yes.
provide access to
Yes.
the, okay.
So why couldn't that one bedroom you're gonna lose just be used for this purpose? And even if you had to raise the ceiling, I mean, why couldn't that be done?
Well, I looked at that. What happens is there's like these weird widths and depths and distances you have to be away from the screen. So it's funny parameters.
It's also windows.
I'll make my statement, just, you know, because I don't have a problem with, it's my feeling. I feel like this isn't R4, R3, this is R1, right? I've seen the area. They're all very big houses. Nobody's gonna notice anything from the street. What I really appreciate, especially like tonight, we have two people like, because there's no, this is irrelevant probably to the approval process, but I appreciate that you came in because nobody would ever see. There's not even anything you could see in a window. So, not that you should, but obviously you see other people violate the law in broad daylight building 2 additional stories. Your Mr. Dubonnet has plans that I don't know how we would ever catch you, so I appreciate you coming in. So I just wanted to say that. In terms of the house, yeah, you could hear from my my views on prior cases, I don't like going over the law, but here's a case where can this neighborhood accommodate it? Yes. Would it improve the overall house? Yes. The number of bedrooms, I see applications coming before us at R4, that if you include the basement, which doesn't count, right? We're not counting it, but there's always one in the basement, one in the guest. We're approving 7 to 8 bedrooms in R4. They're actually giving up a bedroom here. And they're in, you know, usually my objections are that people just want to keep their land, they don't want to move, and that's not right to put on us. Here, they're in the R1 zone. They want to make, I think it's going to make their house more valuable. It won't affect the neighbor. You can't, there's no discernible evidence to the neighborhood at all. So, to me, I'd be in favor of it, but that's just me.
I would just want to counter that a little bit.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
And only because you could have an existing house anywhere with an attic that's big enough to accommodate a room and not make any other outward changes, and we'd be in the same place we are today. So it's not enough of an argument to do it. I mean, I could also argue and say at 6,200 square feet, I mean, you could have 20 bedrooms. I mean, so it doesn't matter whether it's in the R1 or R4 or R3. I mean, it's an issue no matter what. I mean, yes, we have an issue, obviously, with attic space being used. This doesn't preclude, you could say it's a unique situation, but it also doesn't preclude anybody else in this whole area of doing the same thing. They're all similar houses. They all could say, I want to come in here and use the attic space. I mean, they did, you know what, we want the same thing. This isn't a case of a house being undersized and we need some extra space. This is already severely oversized and we're going to make it even worse. That's just how I feel.
Any other opinions or comments?
I kind of leaning on Mr. Sherman's side. And this lot, right now, it's smaller than the standard lot, and at 6485, it's already over the max of 6,200 square feet, so.
And I apologize, I probably shouldn't, it's late, I don't mean to jump in. But the habitable space, right, so it could never be a bedroom because there's no window. So it's technically not like a habitable space, but it counts as FAR. I apologize. It just came to my head. But yeah, so you could not increase bedrooms. We could certainly eliminate the powder room. But it's, yeah, it's like that volume of space that I could use in the basement because we have and I don't want to say hardship because it's a big house, but we can't get into the basement. We tried.
So, Mr. Dubonnet and the Silvers, hearing the comments that you just heard, do you wish to take those comments to heart and beat a strategic retreat, or ask the board to continue to get to the point of rendering a decision where you need all 5 votes?
Retreat. Thank you for night.
Okay, so you're going to take the board's comments, and Mr. Dubonnet is going to, you all gonna circle the wagons, to continue to use my Old West metaphors, and circle the wagons and have further conversation with Mr. Duvenet and see what can be done.
Yes, we'll
And
do
come back at the August 26th meeting.
Okay.
No further notice is required, so you don't have to send out those nice little letters to all of your neighbors.
I
But
might be
all of your
traveling.
neighbors that are here, they know that this is gonna be on for August 26th.
I won't be here the 26th.
What do we do if he's not here on the 26th?
Okay,
No, I'm traveling.
September something, 4th?
okay. All right, well, we'll be on for the regularly scheduled September date. It's late in September.
25th,
There you go.
Thursday. Not a regular Tuesday, it's a Thursday.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Motion to adjourn? Anybody?
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah. Second?
I get first and second?
You can do anything you want.
First and second.
You want to sit and talk? You want to sit and talk? Thank you, Mr. Dubonnet. Tough one.